3 o'clock on a Monday. Welcome aboard the Postgame show alongside Captain Dave. I'm Jay Phillips. Terry expected to be along momentarily. Dave said to me, I've talked to him, which is what I've done, Dave. I've talked to him today. I haven't seen him. So, wait. Guess what? He's walking in the door. He's not late. He's right on time. It's a Monday. Yeah, everybody's a little slow on a Monday. Lots to get to on today's program. Gamecock men's basketball conference slate is out, sort of. But not really. I don't know why they can't just, well, I'll tell you later. But, if you're going to do it, do it. They kind of did it. And when I say they, I don't mean Carolina. It was the whole conference. It's the conference and Disney that are doing this. How you doing, Terry? You made it.
I spent some time, by the elevator talking to fans of the station.
Sure.
Well, not so much you, but
they know you go on the air at 3, right?
Well, they said you got to go on the air at 3. I said,
you go on the air at 3, right?
Yeah, I was, you get all the negativity, you get some compliments, you enjoy it for a minute, and they were like, besides Jay Phillips.
Sure. Well, I can appreciate that. What if we both decided to not be here at 3? Then what?
David Dare would take over and start talking Larkin Poe.
Oh, God.
Little Larkin Poe, he tells some stories about his old days in radio.
Sure.
When he was Swinging David Dare.
Sure.
Wasn't that his air name when he was young, Swinging David Dare?
I don't know, man. I've lived here a long time, but I don't remember that.
You don't remember Swinging David Dare?
I don't.
What was the station he was part of that morning, the 50-person morning crew that was like number one here for a while? I can't. He's told me so many times, but I can't remember. But I thought he was Swinging David Dare, Studley David Dare.
Okay.
Thong Dave. I can't remember what it was, man.
No. See, we're trying to, no. No, that's not what we're here for, man.
Yeah, every now and then I like to do that just to watch your face change colors. You know that, right?
That's not what we're here for.
You have a good weekend, man.
Yeah, but it's you'd want it to be red, not green.
It's true. We have video now. It's not good.
It's not what we're going for here. I did have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. We, you know what? We did something we haven't done in a while. We grilled steaks 2 nights in a row.
Oh.
Well, we had regular steak. I say regular. We had. I went out. I didn't know what I was going to get, and I don't typically get sirloins. Usually, I get a ribeye or a strip or something like that. Mm-hmm. But the particular store I went to had prime cut sirloins on special. And because they were prime, they were roughly in the same price point. And I was like, you know what? I do love the taste of the flavor. Sirloin has a good flavor. It gets a bad rap sometimes because it's not as expensive a cut.
Right.
As some.
Sirloin's very underrated.
But prime, I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a whirl. It was great, man.
Good deal, 2 nights
great.
in a row.
Yeah, and then last night we marinated flank steak because you mentioned flank steak the other day.
Yeah, they had.
I guess it was triggered in my head somewhere. Marinated it in teriyaki and pineapple juice.
Oh,
little garlic, little ginger. It was good.
Honestly, that sounds really good.
It was very good.
Nice
work.
Good.
So we did that. Did a little yard work, and wasn't incredibly hot this weekend. Just hot. It's been hotter.
It's been worse.
Yeah, it's been hotter.
It's been worse. Yeah. I agree with that 150%.
And you rested a little after the long trip back and forth from Tampa by taking another long trip?
Yeah, took another long trip.
How's that working out for you? Did you sleep?
Sleeping's overrated.
You drink a lot of coffee anyway, so I don't know how your clock works.
I tell you what, though, once you set the cruise control in your car, you just put the seat back and just chill out, take a little nap.
Yeah, it's like an airplane.
Exactly. Just lay back.
There are some cars that will kind of semi-drive.
Yeah, you've seen that, like the tech world's trying to work on that stuff. As much as I joke about that, how I'd love to find one of those that does it for real, my trust level...
Yeah, so
not real high for that.
My wife's car, it's not new anyway. It's like a year and a half old, it's a nice car. We do like it, but it has like the lane technology or whatever, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Okay. So the other day, just for yucks, I'm driving on I-85 going to Durham. And there's very few people around. It's 4 lanes all the way from like Charlotte. Once you get to Charlotte, almost all the way to Durham, it's 4 lanes, man. But, hey, South Carolina, get on that. Anyway, So I was like, I'm just going to, just for a second here, right? Car starts screaming at me because I don't have my hands on the wheel. Now, it's driving, but I was like, you can't have it both ways, man. To the car.
Right.
Car doesn't care.
No,
but he's like, put your hands on the wheel. It's like, hands on wheel. I'm like, but you said you could drive.
Now, has it been programmed into Sonny's voice?
No, there's no voice. It's just a loud, incredibly obnoxious dinging.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, So I put my hands back on the wheel. And,
yeah, I tell you, this is like some of those. I rented a car a few years ago that had that technology to where if you. Well, like you're talking about, if you go anywhere near the lanes, it makes that obnoxious noise.
Yeah, well, but ours keeps, like, it'll keep you in it.
Yeah, I mean, for this one, it was just if you got near like the
it'll tell you,
and it would make it. I'm gonna tell you, I've never driven a car so straight in my life. I got so damn tired of that noise.
Right.
That it worked because
that's why I have my really old Sequoia. It doesn't do jack squat, man.
My car, I take my hands on the wheel, it goes, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care, man.
It just doesn't care.
I'm tired.
But anyway, so I hope everybody had a nice weekend, and maybe you did a little grilling out, a little swimming, a little whatever. Maybe you're back from vacation.
Speaking of grilling out, we're gonna grill out at Cobblestone Thursday.
Oh, is it okay? Thursday
3 to 6.
Okay. I did not know that.
We'll definitely be there.
I talked to you for like 45 minutes.
I saved it for the radio. Some things are more fun to do on the radio. We'll be 3 to 6.
All right.
Cobblestone, Birdies with Beamer.
Okay.
Shane will speak at 4:15.
Okay.
We're coordinating right now. If we're you and I, we're gonna like maybe have, Bill and Tyler out there noon to 3 in case we get some coaches early. We're trying to figure the whole thing out. But you and I, sir, will definitely be slumming at Cobblestone.
Well, that's a long way for me, as you know. So I'll be leaving around 5.
So you can get back.
Yeah, I'll listen to Shane, and then I'll head on back for a regular dinner.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah. Well, maybe 5:30.
Well, that does go out of your 5-mile radius of life.
Yeah, I think that we used to be members out there, and so I got used to that drive.
Yeah, you can.
I used to play out there a lot, actually, when they first opened.
Did you?
Yeah.
You can pony out there and
it takes
we'll do a
me.
little 3 to 6.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, we'll do a little 3 to 6 out there.
Because it's mostly interstate. And
no, really not that bad.
Taking that interstate, as long as I get from the right place, like I won't take it through downtown and get on 277 to I-77. I'll come around the other way.
You get a free meal
over near. Will I?
Yeah. Yeah, they usually do a little something before Shane speaks at 4:15.
Oh,
so
I
you'll
can't
get food.
I can't eat at 4 though. I got dinner, man.
Maybe 3.
Well, I got dinner.
Well, you can have an appetizer at 3. They have
you know
desserts.
what? I'll send it home with you.
Cookies.
I'll send it home with you.
I'll eat for 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just trying to save you from
No, I appreciate that, but I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat at 4. And,
you want to eat at 3:30 and then go back and eat dinner?
I'm only in my 50s, man.
Well, you got your weight back, so you can't use that for an excuse.
I do. I have put my weight back on, so I feel good about that.
Well, I'll step in and I'll knock down your desserts and stuff.
All right, so that's Thursday.
Thursday, 3 to 6.
And we'll do our best to get Coach Beamer ahead of his public engagement.
Yes, that's our goal. Typically, is to have Shane sit down and yuck it up with us before he goes in there and does serious work.
Good.
So
who else are we going to get? We'll worry about that later.
Yeah, we'll worry about that.
Speaking of Shane, we'll come up.
I know. We're going to have Marcus Satterfield, Dow Loggins, and Mike Shula.
Okay. One of those I'd like to talk with. Did I say no? I'm kidding. They're all. We've had them all, and they're all fine people to talk.
Tell you what, man. You want to spend you want to knock off 3 hours? Sit down with Dow.
That's where I was headed.
Yeah, Dow's great, man. Dow was. His time here, talking to Dow was fantastic.
He's fun. We could get him more. We just, I know the guys had him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He likes doing it.
Dow's cool.
But anyway, excuse me, I'm all choked up now. Speaking of Shane, Terry has done a deep dive, because I haven't picked up my copy yet, into Phil Steele's college football preview magazine. And in it this year, I think this is a first. Or if not, at least it's maybe being more publicized than it ever has been. But Phil, and we'll do this around 3:30. Phil has, does he call it the Experience Index, or is there an official name for it?
I'll give you the official.
But Phil, for those of you who know Phil Steele's magazine, and if you don't, I'll just tell you, Phil.
It's a Bible.
Phil is terrific with just delving into numbers and trends and allowing fact to guide him. And Phil is really accurate with a lot of predictions and measurements and things like that. I mean, nobody gets anything perfect. And in this case, I wouldn't say that this experience
chart,
NCAA
chart. Experience chart.
This isn't necessarily. It's not a prediction in and of itself, obviously, but it's a way that Phil has taken a number of different metrics and put together what programs are the most experienced when it comes to their roster.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll talk about, because going back to having conversations with Shane Beamer, and he said this a bunch, but I remember, Terry, he told you and me over the holidays last December, a couple weeks after the season ended, and we had him after all the exit interviews and stuff, that he knew throughout the year, and that maybe one of his concerns, even going back to this time of year last summer, a year ago, was, all right, we don't have that veteran presence across the board the way we did in 2024, and how might they be able to overcome it? And in so many words, obviously, and you all know the results of last season, he feels like they really didn't. So he hit that pretty hard in the offseason, and we'll get into what Phil Steele thinks about that and how it relates to some programs around the country.
It's very interesting. We'll see how it relates to programs around the country and the SEC and give you a little gauge of where South Carolina is.
So we'll do that for you. And again, before that, as I mentioned, there's some basketball news to get to here in the offseason. Some big news going on around the country that we'll talk about throughout the afternoon. Our buddy Mike Waddell, North Carolina Sports Radio Network, will join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Mike has been on the program many times. I went to high school with Mike. He has spent most of his professional career in collegiate administration at places like Arkansas, Illinois. He was the athletics director for a time at Towson up in Maryland. He's also worked for NASCAR in his career. He's now back in media up in the Tar Heel State. But, and again, it's not, when I say North Carolina Sports Radio Network, it is not, it's the state of North Carolina, not the University of North Carolina.
Right.
But he will be joining us today to discuss what is happening within the UNC football program. If you have not heard, General Manager Mike Lombardi has been placed on paid administrative leave on what is now being reported by Pete Thamel as an HR issue and investigation. That's all we know. Not here to be
former employee.
By a former employee of the university's athletics department. Not here to be salacious, not here to do anything like that.
Nope.
Trust me, I'll let Twitter handle that, because, my God. But it just is illustrative of so many problems that are going on within that football program, and things that when this was all signed up for a year and a half ago, they didn't sign up for a terrible season. They didn't sign up for girlfriend drama. They didn't sign up for things like this. They didn't sign up necessarily. They're fine with it, I suppose, for having so much of a level of desperation that Bobby Petrino has to be called in to try to fix the offense.
Yeah, and
I mean,
the bravado these guys walked in there with, we're the 33rd NFL team, and then you have some of the parents of the players are talking about the toxic atmosphere. The girlfriend nonsense, obviously, and then what was it, the rumor that during the bye week last year, old Bill took off to, Martha's Vineyard or something. It's like, just again, Jay, we had this conversation going into this whole thing. There's a reason why probably 99% of NFL coaches, head coaches, can't be successful being head coaches in college, and the same thing with college coaches in the NFL. It's a different animal off the field. Forget the on-the-field differences. Yeah. Off the field, like Bill Belichick. Do you think Bill Belichick is sitting around hanging out with the compliance people?
No. In fact, if anything, he sees them as nothing but a hindrance.
Yeah, he sees them as
they're a swarm of mosquitoes and gnats.
Yeah, they're just these paper people who have to fill out all these forms and stops him from doing the things he needs to do to win football games or whatever. So anything that goes on with any of this kind of stuff, and we don't know exactly what this is,
right?
But on the surprise scale, I was like at -10.
Yeah, I mean,
These guys aren't there. They don't care about classrooms. They don't care about following rules or compliances or processes. They don't care.
Well, we'll talk to Mike about that again. He'll join us coming up about 4:30. So we got a lot to get to. Some good news, potentially, depending on your point of view, on the Protect College Sports Act getting through the Senate. That means it's going to pass the legislative process entirely, but there is some movement there, and a pretty big step towards a CBA happened out west? Maybe. We'll get into that and a whole lot more, plus Andrew Jones going into the Hall of Fame. It's the Monday postgame show. 20 minutes after 3 o'clock Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Gamecock basketball news here in the offseason before we get into a few thoughts on Phil Steele and Gamecock football. The Southeastern Conference has released the conference schedule for the 16 members of the SEC. And earlier I said sort of because there's a whole mess of either or on here. And what I mean by that is the Saturday games are known, but the Tuesday or the midweek games are not. Now, I think I'm making sure here, Terry, yet one midweek game is known. It's a road game at Tennessee. Other than that, South Carolina will be playing either or Tuesday,
either
Wednesday.
Ors, man.
And in the release, South Carolina says that for TV privacy, it says all midweek games are still subject to change for TV according to SEC scheduling parameters. Game times and TV designations will be finalized over the coming weeks, with ESPN serving as the home family of networks for SEC basketball. So they're almost there. But anyway, in order, it's going to look like this. So just bear with me. There'll be a quiz.
Yep, I'm writing it down. Let's do it.
And I won't go with dates. I'm just going to go in order of how these games are going to play out because it's going to take too long. So you got at LSU on a Saturday, then Tuesday or Wednesday home with Arkansas, then Saturday home with A&M, then a Tuesday or Wednesday at Vandy, Saturday at Missouri, Tuesday or Wednesday home with Bama, a Saturday at Mississippi State, a Tuesday or Wednesday home with Texas, Saturday at Oklahoma, a Tuesday or Wednesday at Florida, a Saturday home with Georgia, a Tuesday or Wednesday at Kentucky, Saturday at Auburn, then that's the off week. Carolina doesn't usually schedule any non-con when they have that. They give that little flexibility because some schools like to, but Carolina usually doesn't. They might, though.
You never know.
It'd be between February 13th and 20th. So Saturday the 13th at Auburn, home with Auburn, and then Saturday the 20th, home with Mississippi. Then a Tuesday at Tennessee, the 23rd, Saturday, February 27, home with State, Tuesday or Wednesday, home with Florida, and wrap up the season Saturday, March the 6th at Georgia. The SEC tournament will begin March the 10th, once again back in Nashville. So, again, there will be a quiz later, but all but one of the midweek games is either or.
Yep.
Look, I appreciate that they want to go ahead and get some news out and maybe just get a little basketball in there since we had so much football last week. But I'd rather just have them wait and tell me the whole thing.
Waiting would be nice. Look, and it's one of those things, too. You're jumping your TV hoops because, let's face it, TV runs the show, right? So you got to figure out some of these TV. And look, again, this is not to be mean, but right now when you're looking at South Carolina coming off the last two seasons they are coming off of, they're not looked at as your primo level one focus, right?
Right.
A lot of it's, okay, how else are we going to put in teams that we think might get more eyeballs? And look, if South Carolina do what they did 3 years ago, all of a sudden it becomes a great story and then people are more interested. But coming off these last 2 years, Jay, they're not looked at as, well, we got to make sure South Carolina's got an excellent time slot because we know that we're going to get tons of audience for that one. Not at this point.
Yeah, like I'm looking at, with all due respect, Saturday, January 30th at Oklahoma. Can't really see that that's going to be a ratings driver for either side.
No.
Especially since that's an NFL playoff weekend.
Exactly. That was going to be tough.
But we'll see.
Depending on what your records are at that time, it could be even tougher.
But Carolina has home and homes with State, with Florida, with Georgia, and Tennessee, right? No, wait.
No. They just have the one game with Tennessee.
Who am I missing, Terry, for?
Hold on.
Is it Alabama? I thought it was Alabama.
Hold on. Alabama.
Or is it just the three?
No, it's just three.
Okay.
I'll go back and look at it again. I think it's just the three.
Maybe it is just three now. All right. Anyway, there you go. So the basketball schedule almost all the way out.
Getting there.
Non-con not quite finalized, so I suppose soon enough we'll have the whole thing.
Yeah. It would be kind of, Lamont hasn't really what you call scheduled a lot of difficult non-conference games against opponents that are, either really, really good, ranked, compelling brand recognitions. Personally, and look, I get it too. You're trying to, you change your team up these last few years. You've been portal heavy. You want to kind of get these guys where they get the rhythm together, learn how to play together, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to make it too hard of a non-conference schedule. But it would be fun to see, like, some type of team where you go, ooh.
Well, you got the trip to NC State for the ACC Challenge.
Yeah, and again,
Clemson is going to.
Besides Clemson, just to me as a basketball nerd, I'm going.
Last year you had Butler.
It's not really making the tingles, man.
No
offense. Look, NC State.
Who else did they see in that thing up in West Virginia?
I forgot. See, I forgot.
Exactly.
That's the point. But I mean, NC State's fine, but it's not like I go, ooh, I'm making sure I'm.
Well, no, but you're not going to get South Carolina to be scheduled against Duke or Virginia.
Just somewhat. I mean, even if you like, just someone where you go, oh, that's interesting. I know this wouldn't happen either. Let's say you played Gonzaga for some reason or something.
Well, Gonzaga, I get you, and Gonzaga's not going to schedule you.
Right,
I suppose for Carolina's purposes, in Lamont's mind, to your point, and I know you're talking non-con, but Carolina's going to say, we get Florida twice, and we have to go to Kentucky. We've got Alabama.
The SEC is very tough, and that's everybody's pushback in the league. The thing about it is, though, unlike football, if you play a tough non-conference schedule in basketball, I mean, look at Auburn last year, barely a 500 team, but their schedule was so tough.
Yeah.
Non-conference and SEC, they almost got themselves in the tournament.
Right.
So if you play a little bit tougher in the non-con and, can hold your own ish to where you're not getting beat by 20 or something,
right,
it actually can help you.
Well, that's and there's the grand irony of all of this conversation of why SEC football coaches and administrators are not real happy with the CFP because they seemingly are not.
Right.
Looking at strength of schedule as a reward. And so now you've gotten all these schools to cancel, at least the vast majority of schools have canceled
some really
good home and
games.
homes, man. And that's unfortunate. And South Carolina is far from exclusive when it comes to doing things like that. So
I wish that, again, the College Football Playoff Committee crew would maybe talk to the basketball people. And the basketball people would say, the strength of schedule thing is it's an important metric.
Yeah, and look, I get it. What they're going to say, Terry, and it's obvious. What they're going to say is, well, you get a lot more opportunities, and you can do both. You can't do both in football, but you can. That's the thing. You can do both.
Yes, you can do both. Yes. That's a cop-out when they say that to me.
Again, I go back to the schedule format that I would like, and this is piggybacking off of what Nick Saban said last week. Now, he didn't say this. This is me. But he said we should all play – nothing but power conference versus power conference. And I'm like, amen. I'm standing up in church, swaying. But my thought was you have 8 conference games, and then you have a non-con against some team from one of the other 3 conferences. That's 11. And then some type of what I would call wild card game. And that, for Carolina's purposes, and Clemson's for that matter, that kind of game would pretty much be the annual rivalry. And that would also suffice for Florida, Florida State, for Louisville, Kentucky, for Georgia, Georgia Tech, for, to put Kansas and Missouri back on the schedule, Southern Cal, Notre Dame, blah, blah, blah. We got ways, Terry, to make these kinds of things happen. And I know Notre Dame's not in the conference, but I assure all of you that if the day comes when it's all power schools versus power schools, Notre Dame's going to be.
They'll find a way to get involved. Yes.
Yeah. So, we can do this, but again, borrow from basketball, borrow from baseball, which uses the RPI. Again, look at Oklahoma in a tough conference, had a couple of good non-con games, losing record in conference. Oklahoma goes on to win the national title.
Mm-hmm.
So, strength of schedule does make a difference.
Yeah, it does.
The veteran makeup of a roster also makes a difference. And certainly South Carolina head football coach Shane Beamer felt that was lacking last year. They've addressed it. Now the great Phil Steele in his college football preview has measured it. How good of a job does Phil Steele think Carolina did when it comes to experience on the football team? We'll tell you next. Cato's Power Equipment ready to help you get your yard looking great, just like they did for me. Had my my push mower in the shop. When I say push mower, it's actually, it kind of pulls itself along there. It's Toro Time Master, and it's absolutely fantastic. But had it just, get a little service, a little sharpening of the blades, and it's running like brand new. It was great. It was great. So thank you to Ben and the entire crew at Cato's for taking care of that last week. And no matter what you need when it comes to your equipment, they'll get it in and out of the service department real fast for you. That's especially important for those of you who do it for a living, because equipment downtime means work downtime, and that means payment downtime. You don't need that, and Cato's understands it. That's why they've been in business so long. Now, more than 40 years as a family-owned business right here in the Midlands. Stop into the showroom, see all that they have to help you out, and get you into that service department quickly, too. 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, always online. CatosPowerEquipment.com.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think if you look across college football specifically, but college athletics, I mean, the best teams, in my opinion, year in, year out, are the oldest teams. You look at Indiana last year, they had a lot of seniors on their football team, and that's what we have right now. And a lot of things have changed about sports and college athletics, but one thing that hasn't changed about athletics ever is when you've got an older team that's got a lot of really good leadership and high character guys, you got a chance to be successful. That was
Shane Beamer on with the halftime show guys last week during SEC Media Days, and that refrain has been rather common from Shane through the offseason. This team, look, you always want to get more talented, but how do you balance talent with experience and veteran presence? Because, I don't disagree with him, and I think we've heard that from Curt Cignetti. And if you want, and listen, let's be perfectly honest with ourselves, all right? With the exception of about 8 or 10 schools, the rest of college football is looking at what Curt Cignetti has done and is saying some form of, hey, we should try that. Or, depending on the school, you better start doing that. I'm not sure where Carolina falls, and it may depend on a point of view. I certainly think if I look towards, say, Lubbock, Texas, there's more of a, you better start doing that, Joey. Then, hey, that looks fun.
Coach Campbell just said what you should be doing, Joey.
Yeah.
The thing about it, too, Jay, I think this started, we look at Curt Cignetti and what he's done in Indiana with veteran players through the portal. College basketball, this was starting in college basketball about 3, 4, 5 years before football really caught it. You look at some of those teams that was winning in college basketball, experienced guys through the portal, 22, 23, 21-year-old guys using the COVID year and redshirt years.
I think Tony Bennett was doing it at UVA. I think Dusty May did it at FAU. And forgive me, Brian, San Diego State
did it too. And a bunch of their guys I think were 35.
I know, man. But you're right. And Rare is and look, could you argue that one of the reasons John Shire and Duke haven't pushed through yet is because they don't always have?
Well, I will say this. The last 2 years, to be fair to that point, they got in crunch time situations against older veteran teams, and what happened?
They went gulp.
They puckered, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there is a thing about older veteran guys who have played more games, like anything, though, Jay. Remember when you were younger, typically 22-year-olds.
I mean, when I was.
Well, when you were, look at you now. It's, God, Chase. Anyway,
it's not gray hair. It's the light.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's what it is. But, 22-year-olds typically beat up on 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
23-year-olds, they typically have their way with 19-year-olds in athletic events. Because you know what? That 3-4 year span of maturity and physical, dominance or whatever is a thing. And I think that guys like Curt Cignetti went, look, I can't go get the 5-star kid. I can't beat Georgia on 5-star kids.
Right.
I can't beat Bama. I can't beat Ohio State. You know what I can do? I can go in the portal and get some veteran guys who might want to come here from other places where this betters their situation. I'll bring some of James Madison dudes with me, and we'll go play ball. And I think it's easier, Jay, to hit the portal than it is to go get the 5-star.
It is. And now Indiana's doing both, I might add. Seriously, if y'all didn't see the story last week, Indiana got their first ever. Not since Curt Cignetti got there.
Ever.
They got their first ever commitment from a 5-star recruit.
And that's what's happened because of what Sig has done.
It's working. So Shane Beamer is looking at that model in some ways, whether it's the Cignetti model or, again, just as he said, sports in general to the point that we just made. And you could even use this, in a lot of times in professional sports. But the great Phil Steele has now come up with a way to, from his perspective at least, and with his knowledge, measure your experience levels. And now you've done it as deep a dive into this to explain. So I told Terry in our show meeting today, it's like Professor Terry is now on the clock.
All right. Everyone gather around as Professor Ford goes into the NCAA experience chart. Now, what it is, he takes basically the tabulation of senior starters in the 2-deep, not counting the kickers or the punters, along with juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. Basically, it goes to a level of 0 to 100. If you had, for an example, 25 seniors, NCAA scholarship limit on your 2-deep everywhere, and they had every yard, every tackle, every sack, tackle for loss, interception, et cetera, if they had all your stats, and they're seniors on the 2 deep, on a scale of 0 to 100, you'd be 100.
Okay.
That's the perfect score.
Gotcha.
If you had the opposite, you have a 0. If you had no seniors and all these young'uns had all the returning production. This is a combination of seniors, experience, and the production coming back. Billy Connolly gave you returning production where South Carolina was top 10 in the country as well, maybe even top 5. This takes also offensive line. This is something you should look at as a metric anyway, that it's being talked about a lot. Career offensive line starts. South Carolina right now has a total of 126 offensive line starts. These guys came from everywhere, though, not here.
Yeah.
That's 4th in the country. Number of big plays on D percentage coming back, South Carolina's 22nd in the country. And that's even with losing some of the guys they lost in the defensive backfield.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at returning yards coming back on offense, South Carolina's sitting 11th in the country. So there's a lot of experience coming back, not only seniors, but production combined makes this metric. On a scale of 0 to 100, South Carolina is sitting just a tick under 67%, which is 5th in the country. And guess who's better than them in the SEC? Exactly, that person, nobody.
Okay.
Best in the SEC in this metric is South Carolina.
Okay.
No one else in the SEC is in the top 10, by the way. After South Carolina,
Wow.
Georgia is next at 12.
Okay.
Texas A&M's at 13.
Okay.
Oklahoma 23, Texas 25. That's the only SEC teams in the top 25.
Wow.
The bottom, it's not going to shock you, teams with new coaches.
Yeah.
Arkansas at the bottom,
Yeah.
Kentucky next, LSU next, those 3. Then this gets interesting. The 4th least experienced team is Alabama. 5th least experienced is Tennessee. Keep your eye on that if it matters as the season kicks
Yeah,
in.
because and that's where, again, I think this is going to matter, but there will be exceptions to every rule. And you mentioned LSU. Mm-hmm. LSU's loaded.
They're loaded, even though this production, it's not like South Carolina. We get all these seniors and all this production coming back. LSU doesn't have production coming back like South Carolina, but what LSU does is they got dudes.
They got dudes, and so does Bama.
And Bama's going to have dudes. All this is going to, obviously, for Alabama, it's going to be how good your offensive line, how good your young quarterback. That's really what's going to happen with Bama.
Yeah.
But Bama, especially on defense, is loaded.
Yeah.
So those things, like for an example, I'll give you some of these other teams in the top 10 just to go to the point of you can't take this as religion. Number 1 in this metric is Air Force, which makes sense.
That does.
Service Academy makes sense.
Absolutely.
Number 2, my Terps.
Okay.
And they're going to be bad. They're not going to be very good. Okay. God love them. Well, they're your Terps, too. You got kids there.
Yeah, I do.
They're our Terps. Number 3.
I'm glad the 2 that went to, one that went and one that's going. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they're not as big of sports fans.
It's good for them, especially football. Yeah. Maryland missed the memo on how important football is supposed to be. Yeah. Number 3, this is a team to keep an eye on. Number 3 is BYU.
Okay, it also makes sense.
BYU, a lot of production coming back. Remember, freshman quarterback. And they also have this special redshirt program they use.
Right.
So, and plus they're spending money. All right, so BYU is number 3. Number 4 in this metric. Where'd they go? Oh, they're right in front of me a second ago. Time's ticking on me. Number 4. I believe it's a group of 5 team. Forget it for right now. I'll find it later. Army's number 6. Number 5 is South Carolina.
Yeah.
You look at the top team in the ACC is Virginia at 16. Clemson, by the way, if you're interested, is 38th.
Okay.
And the top team, if you go over to the BYU is in the Big 12, South Carolina SEC, Maryland Big 10, Nebraska's 8th, UCLA's 10th, Houston is 9th. Texas Tech, with all their stuff going on, is 21st. So they do have some folks.
Well, again, Joey McGuire has done a lot of portal recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question. So
absolutely.
I think they're looking. That's why I say they're looking at that model.
Oh, and number 4 is Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
They're in the independent. I'm going to tell you something. We don't talk about them enough. They are loaded, man.
No, they're going to be good.
They are loaded.
They're going to be good.
So there's your experience charts.
I like it. I mean, again, how much is it going to matter? Like I say all the time, go win football games.
Every situation's different.
Terry opens the vault next. All right, welcome back in. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on this Monday. Jay and Terry with you. Coming up around 4:30, Mike Waddell, North Carolina Sports Radio Network, with what's going on, if he has answers. That's the goal with the University of North Carolina's football program. If you didn't hear, GM Mike Lombardi put on paid leave today. With what Pete Thamel is reporting is an HR investigation prompted by a complaint from a former employee. That's all we know. Again, not trying to be salacious. Just, again, as I said earlier in the program, just illustrates the continued PR troubles, and that's me being kind, at North Carolina football. It's really North Carolina athletics minus Scott Forbes taking him back to Omaha.
Yeah, besides that. And then, he'll leave for another job and they'll hire Bruce Bochy. I just, I look at it like this, Jay. You know what surprises me? Look, again, I didn't have a whole lot of expectation for Bill Belichick in college football because, again, it's very difficult to transition from the NFL to college. But I'm surprised about, because Bill never, look, Deflategate was whatever, Spygate was whatever, but it wasn't stuff like this. It wasn't, you got stuff going on with drama, staff are taking away the focus by doing something. It's an HR violation. He's probably going to get, lose his job.
Or again, you have a 23-year-old who's suddenly running media for, one of the biggest institutions and biggest brands in college football, and looking at a 30-year journalist going, yeah, we're not talking about that. Yeah,
And
Bill sits there going,
Yeah, okay, whatever you say. You never thought Bill would be that guy, but it's just the things that have happened there are surprising because this is Bill Belichick.
Right.
This is a guy who was so buttoned up in the NFL. There were no distractions, straight ahead, laser focus, all about the process and the way and all that stuff. And now it's like,
who do we have?
What are you doing?
Okay, and he's got a different level of success. I can think of some college coaches who have done well enough at the next level, but in terms of the reverse, and Pete Carroll comes to mind because Pete had 2 NFL jobs, then took the Southern Cal job and did well, then turned that, after doing very well in L.A., turned that into a fantastic run in Seattle.
Jimmy Johnson went from
Miami college to the
NFL,
to the pros. And I think of Bobby Ross, Tom Coughlin. All these guys got to and or won the Super Bowl. John McKay was great at Southern Cal, did not have success, but he had no players
it was
at
just an
Tampa.
Expansion team.
I know. Bill Walsh was good at Stanford, for as good as Stanford can be, and obviously became a legend. So there are instances, and I guess Bill Walsh went back to college, but
yeah, it didn't
but again,
translate that time.
It didn't work.
It's really tough. I think it's tough both ways. I just do. I just think the games are so different, and again, you're dealing with young men compared to grown men. It's just all so many different things, and the field is different. Going from the NFL to college, I think, is very difficult because you've got to adjust to everything about collegiate athletics.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll was so rare because he just had this great infectious personality. He was so positive. Everything about Pete, it just felt like he could fit in with younger players.
Pete was like Sean McVay, and he never aged, even as he got older. And I think that that's why I say I think Pete. That's why I made that point about him at the top of this. He's unique.
But that's what I'm saying.
He's unique.
Because everybody's, okay, we got to get another Pete Carroll. There's not another Pete Carroll.
I don't think there is one.
You got to stop thinking
unless
like
it's Sean
that.
McVay.
Yeah.
But Sean's already won the Super Bowl, so he's not Pete because Pete didn't have early NFL success.
Pete was a mediocre NFL head coach on a 500 record. Remember, had 2 chances.
But he was with teams that weren't very good back then.
He followed Parcells in New England.
Yeah.
And then he went to where coaches' careers go to die. Right. And so then he was
playing careers and fandom.
So, it was like he only went to college because he couldn't get an NFL head coaching gig. So he went to college to try to rehabilitate himself.
The Jets wrecked him, man.
I'm saying they wrecked careers, man. So Pete was very rare. But, most of the time when an NFL head coach goes to college, it just
doesn't happen very often.
No,
but in Belichick's case, again, it's like, I'm not going to do it the college way.
He's only in college because the NFL shut him out.
Yeah. Well, and he's making $10 million.
Right. Bill Belichick would have never shown up in college if the NFL would have offered him a head coaching gig. If it came down to North Carolina or any team in the NFL, except the Jets, Bill would have taken the NFL gig.
He might have taken the Jets job.
You know what?
Because he could stick at the Kraft twice a year.
How funny would that be?
I think he would have, man.
Bill's that petty.
I think he would have.
Bill's that petty.
Yeah.
But so again, it's just very difficult, and this does not surprise. What surprises me though is all this stuff going on. I thought Bill just would fail because it's a tough transition, but Bill has got.
He's added to it. You can't throw gas on the fire. But we'll talk to Mike Waddell about that coming up. Could the Protect College Sports Act have new life in the U.S. Senate? We'll let you be part of that decision-making process coming up. Keep it here.
CHW Cabinetry. We just have these discussions all the time about the great customer service, the professionalism, the transparency, the photorealistic renderings. All these things just scream to you, hey, we care about you as a customer. We want you to be a customer. You, your family, your kids, your kids' kids, your kids' kids' kids. As long as CHW Cabinetry is around, we want to be the people you come to for indoor or outdoor cabinetry and accessories. Because we are going to be honest and transparent with you and do things within your budget and your satisfaction, and we'll keep doing it till we get it right. What a concept. Just call and start the process. 803-520-6837. Again, 803-520-6837. Star and her team, they will get the work done for you to your satisfaction in your budget, make you happy, and stay with you the whole time with great customer service and photorealistic renderings. CHW Cabinetry.
All right, 4 o'clock here, little musical interlude. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you on this Monday. Trying to do two things at once over here. Shouldn't do that.
It's probably dangerous, that multitasking thing.
Yeah, you mentioned like younger, and it's like in my levels of experience, I find that it's really more just an age thing that I shouldn't multitask, especially right as the bump starts.
Yeah, probably should frown upon that.
Yeah, like I can do two things at once, but trying to actually almost do three things at once, including getting the camera turned back on, and then remember what time it is.
I appreciate that you've jumped up on that camera button. You're doing all right over there, man. You're really look at you, you evolving. Old dog, new tricks.
Yeah, well, I was doing it for a while, but remember, I just forgot a couple of the buttons when I was gone for so long.
Yeah.
And I remember the first day back, I was like, remind me again how I got to get this, like, because I knew there was one to get us on and then one to put the, we'll be back screen. And now I can do it just
You're good, man. You're good.
Although I screwed it up last week, apparently, because Randy was doing stuff, for us, and I'm just so used to it. So on last Monday, a week ago, just out of habit, I mean, because that's what I do,
right.
And Randy couldn't figure out why one particular screen was up, and he finally figured out it was me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, nobody told me not to do that because that's what I do."
He came in. I was obviously in Tampa, and he gets to the headset. He goes, "Hey, are you hitting the button to do this and that?" And I go, "No, man, I'm not touching the button." He's like, "Yeah, somebody's touching the button. I don't know who." And I was like, "Well, probably that bleeping Phillips." No, I was just like, I said, Randy, because again, I was like, Randy, I mean, because I didn't know if it was you in there. I didn't know if whoever was producing 3 to 6 might have been hitting it. I had no clue. I said, Randy, I said, I haven't touched the button because I'm not thinking about the button right now.
Yeah.
I'm in Tampa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was you.
No, it's just become like, muscle memory now.
Now, see, look at you.
So
you got it going on over there. Next thing, we'll have you going in there and
nope.
Maybe slicing up some, editing some videos and some shorts and some clips and maybe getting you in there, TV engineering 8 to 9 a.m. hour.
Not happening.
I think you've opened up a door for yourself, sir.
No. But it's nice that you think I have done that, or that I had the potential. I appreciate that.
See, it's all from a positive.
Sure.
I believe in you. I believe in your ability.
Do you believe in Brian Kelly's ability to be a college football analyst on television?
Well, my first answer is no.
Okay. Well, too late.
I know.
CBS has announced Brian Kelly will do various games, both studio work and color analyst work. He will also appear on the CBS Sports Network program Inside College Football. They got him starting out pretty far down the line, with all due respect. Jacksonville State versus North Dakota State. Now, North Dakota State's pretty good.
Okay.
That'll be on CBS Sports Network. He'll be doing at least 2 Pac-12 games, Texas Tech at Oregon State. At least Oregon State's in the new look Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a BYU-Colorado State game. So really, those are both non-conference games. Beyond that, we don't really know what his schedule is going to look like, other than doing some studio work. Maybe, Look, Brian Kelly's a really good football coach.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Kelly is really trying to be nice, curmudgeonly in front of microphones.
And clunky. Remember he tried to pull the John McKay joke at the halftime at the execution of his players or whatever?
It's just, I don't, we'll see.
Look, sometimes these guys surprise you. Like, I won't lie. I was pleasantly surprised how good Randy Moss was. I didn't see that coming with Randy Moss. Not that he couldn't, maybe joke around or have some fun, but the fact just Randy Moss in totality, how good he is doing a pregame show, that surprised me. So every now and then I get surprised. Now, could Brian Kelly surprise me? Not a chance in hell.
I just think the reputation that precedes him is a little too strong for the vast majority of college football fans to overcome.
Can I be honest with you? Why do you think he's at again, I'm not trying to be mean. Why do you think he's at CBS Sports Network and not with one of the big dogs?
Yeah.
The big dogs didn't chase him.
Yeah.
They did not go after him.
This is CBS. Now, apparently these Pac-12 games, or at least, that part of, they will be on CBS. Everything else he's doing is, at least for now, on CBS Sports Network.
I feel like they're doing? Let's see how it goes. And if you are good at this, we'll move you up the pecking order. Let's start you down a little bit lower, on the lower rung. And let's see, because I think.
Well, you got to remind me, who's working with Brad Nessler now? Because Gary retired. Gary Danielson moved on. Last year was the Army-Navy game. That was his final game, and I can't remember. They might not at that point have even given us. I'll look it up, but I mean, it's certainly not going to be Brian Kelly. Somebody's already going to have been named to work with Brad, and Brad is fantastic. So you better be good to work with Brad. But look, we'll see. I'm not here to try to be just whatever. I'm not a big
Charles Davis.
Oh, okay.
With Brad Nessler.
Okay.
Charles Davis is good.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
Look, my thing with Brian Kelly.
Although Charles just got let go
at ESPN.
At NFL
Network.
Yeah.
Because ESPN owns NFL Network.
Yeah.
The thing about Brian Kelly.
Charles. Yeah, no, Charles would do great with Brad.
Look, I always try to push my personal feelings aside on these on stuff because I think I feel like I need to be objective all the time on stuff. And when I can't be or I have a difficult time, I'm always very honest. Like Floyd Mayweather, I have a very tough time being objective because everything I've ever heard and read and been told, he's a terrible human being. So Brian Kelly sometimes is not a good human being.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and especially when you delve into that second level, you just kind of realize like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, it's just I'm one of those people. I will not forget the incident at Notre Dame.
Correct.
I will not, and nor should people forget that.
Correct.
I just look at Brian Kelly. I try to put it aside and just look at his personality. I don't know how his personality is going to translate to TV. There's one or two things, Jay, I think, when we're watching these. First of all, we don't watch games for analysts and play-by-play. But an analyst to be, I guess, to connect to the audience, A, you better be really good at breaking down the game to give us something and tell us things we don't know, right? Educate us, so to speak. B, entertain us. The best ones like John Madden do both.
Yes.
Brian Kelly is not going to be an entertainer.
Well, you need to be like Gary. We just mentioned Gary Danielson. And again, Brian's not taking over for him, but Gary had a great sense of humor. I think Kirk Herbstreit has risen the way he has in his career because he does educate you, but he's funny. He entertains. And I say funny, you're not up there Jerry Seinfeld telling jokes, but you need to get along. It's sports, so you don't need to take it too seriously all the time. We got enough of that.
Yep.
I feel like that's the category that Brian Kelly may fall into of just taking it too seriously. Slow down, Coach. It's a Saturday. I'm enjoying a game with my buddies, having some wings and beer. I don't need you talking to me like that.
And I think too, the ones that resonate reach out to the casual.
Yeah.
Because hardcores are watching, right? And hardcores are hardcores. The casual is the one that these guys need to connect to be really. So, like Tony Romo's first year. What made Tony Romo so good? Tony Romo was like telling you the play.
Right.
These guys,
Tony Romo was also on about 5 Red Bulls. It felt like.
Absolutely, there is no doubt. But you go.
Now he's only on 3.
That guy's going in motion. Okay, there's a double over here. Okay, that single over here. They're probably going to throw here to the single. There's single coverage. Hey, a guy's going in motion. Romo was.
But he was killing it. No, he was killing it. Yeah, he was killing it.
And he had a good personality. He resonated really well. And now he doesn't do that anymore. But his first year, man, everybody locked in with Romo because he was telling you things you didn't know, and he had a friendly personality. Yeah. And see, again, I don't think Brian Kelly comes off friendly.
He doesn't.
And he doesn't come off funny.
I'm surprised, honestly, because of one point that you made there above any other, the entertainment portion of this. I'm surprised that the folks at CBS, especially a new ownership CBS, with Paramount now owning them and having more, dare I say, of a Hollywood approach, since that's where Paramount's headquartered. This is not a New York thing anymore. It's mildly surprising. And like I say, I'm not, maybe he will do well. I'll look. I can't honestly, Terry. I'm probably not going to be tuned in to Jacksonville State versus North Dakota State.
I'm not. Probably not.
The Texas Tech Oregon State game. I probably won't be tuned in for that one either.
Yeah, probably not. This is not Dennis Erickson's Oregon State or Mike Riley's. Yeah. Look.
And Texas Tech is not really. I'm not here to watch. To watch that house burn.
with head coach Cody Campbell.
I'll let somebody else do that.
I tell you, I mean, look, I think that's why they're putting Brian Kelly where they are. Let's see how he does. Let's see if we can iron out the rough edges, maybe help him, make sure his makeup's okay and he doesn't look like, Krusty the Clown. And
Sorry.
And maybe they're going to see what they've got with him. Now, I read somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it, that there was a real push from his agent to try to get him into TV because they want to try to change the image of him to maybe catapult him to his next job like a lot of these coaches do. Like, remember, Dan Mullen went to TV a couple years and he pops off the UNLV.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Kelly had a lot of success. He just didn't have the success at LSU they wanted him to.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're going to remake Brian Kelly in front of TV cameras and make people go, wow,
especially,
guy.
and I don't look, I'm like, he's not that much older than me, but especially at he's 65. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you can't learn new things, whatever. But
you hit that button over there like a champ now. I mean,
but I'm not 65
yet.
No, not yet. I got a decade plus, man. So give me, don't rush me. No, anyway, I look again. We're not trying to sit here and be sanctimonious. I think a lot of people that are listening right now, I think a lot of you might agree with us that he's not high up on your likability meter.
No.
And I don't know that he ever really has been on anybody's.
I don't think he cared to be for a long time.
And I was going to say, I think that's just it. And so to have hired an agency in an effort to rehabilitate your PR profile, and look, he doesn't need a lot of money, so he's probably not working. It's like some coaches would go in, some former coaches would probably go in and say, yeah, I'll do it for a boatload of money. Or you mentioned Romo. Like, Romo could have kept playing. Nick Faldo could have kept playing. I'm using the examples here, and I know neither one of those guys were coaches. Urban Meyer, is at Fox. Urban is pulling down a lot of money because Urban can go coach again. Now, again, some issues, sure, but there's tons of schools that would hire Urban Meyer.
The college game would take him back in a second.
In a heartbeat. Again, Nick Faldo, when he went to work for CBS, I'll do it, and I think Nick was making like $5 million a year at the time. Tony Romo's making what, like 15?
Oh, it's ridiculous what Romo's making now.
Tom Brady's making that. And now Tom couldn't get that playing quarterback anymore, but he's just Tom Brady. So,
right.
My point is, Kelly had a big buyout, and he's not working for minimum wage.
No.
But he's not going to be pulling down what a lot of these analysts are making in an effort to try and do what he's doing.
No, I think, look, I'm guessing Kelly wouldn't take a year off, my guess, or he didn't get his door knocked on and got offers that he wanted. It's one of the two, right? It's either he didn't get the offers he wanted, or he just want to take a year and chill and get away from it and recharge.
It's probably a mix. I mean, who's really looking for Brian Kelly right now?
That's my point. He came out
looking
of LSU,
for a coach and looking for Brian Kelly are two different things.
Right. And look, it's not like Brian Kelly was terrible at LSU. He played the SEC championship game his first year, averaged, going into that final season, he was averaging almost 10 wins a year. They just weren't getting the college football playoff.
Well, Terry, the year that Jaden Daniels did what he did, they couldn't do at LSU. They couldn't tackle.
Well, if they had a bad defense, they might play for the national championship.
Yeah.
That defense was abysmal.
Yeah, it was beyond.
So,
I mean, that's just it. Yeah, yes.
And then when he got a good defense, his offense was terrible.
Yeah.
It's just the idea that he came off. When he left there, his reputation. It was almost like, okay, we're not that guy. Like we felt like, I think the perception was he failed. And he wasn't a failure. He just didn't reach the heights they wanted. But that wasn't like going 4-8 every year or 3-9. They just didn't get to where Brian Kelly was hired to get them to. They made it worse too. Notre Dame played for the national championship.
Correct. But he had a Heisman. I mean, he had everything.
That defense was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that Jaden Daniels year, they should have been the national champions.
Let's face it, his hiring of coordinators let him down at LSU more than anything.
But they should have been the national.
But he feels like he's radioactive, doesn't it? For some reason.
Right now, yeah, at least toxic, if not completely radioactive. If we want to play semantics with that, we'll come back on the other side, get into a little politics. Is there a chance the PCA could move through the Senate before the August recess? We'll talk about it coming up. Well, whoever's doing the games that you're watching this season, you can watch and listen to those people better than ever when you call Integrated Media. Maybe you love your home theater system's setup. You've got a cool room and, you've got everything right there, including your beer fridge and whatever else. And you're like, man, this place is great. But maybe the equipment in there has been around for a few years, and it's time to go next level. Call Integrated Media. They'll be happy to come take the old stuff out, talk with you about the new stuff you want. Bang, you're upgraded to today's technology. Or maybe you've been dreaming of watching football while you're out by the grill or the pool or both, or just on the patio or porch. Outdoor systems with equipment that's built to be outside all the time. You don't have to worry about covering it up, taking it in. They'll even put an in-ground subwoofer in so you can rock and thump the entire neighborhood. Whatever you want when it comes to home theater, do it better than ever. 803-948-8327. Call Integrated Media. All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you on this Monday afternoon. Our buddy Mike Waddell coming up here in just a few minutes to discuss what's going on in Chapel Hill. We'll call him around 4:30. Before that, a little bit of political news. Well, not political news. Government news. Well, it's all politics. All politics is local, kids. Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports and Sports Illustrated reporting that there was movement last night, at least in reworking the Protect College Sports Act in the United States Senate. Basically, what they did was go over some language about finances. And interestingly, Terry Ford, if you read between the lines of what Ross reported, and I'm not saying this is absolute fact, but again, reading between the lines, it may well be that the Big Ten and SEC were a lot less concerned initially about the realignment stuff and the TV stuff. And what I mean by that is they were going to, like, say basically, if you're in a conference now, that's your conference. The bill said that initially. And if enough of you want to, then you can pool your resources and go to market for TV numbers as a collective. And the SEC and Big Ten were both kind of like, I don't know about that. But it seems like maybe this was more about a cap of sorts. So right now, what's being discussed is next year putting in a $21.3 million rev share cap, but having what is going to be called a $25 million retention pool, then having a $5 million women's athletics only fund, which would bring that number to a total of $51 million. And obviously, with the House settlement, the rev share portion increases by a certain percentage every year over the life of the House settlement, which I believe is a 10-year settlement. So nothing in what Ross reported from the conference call last night dealt with realignment or the pooling of television resources. Now, it doesn't mean that the SEC and Big Ten are like, oh, that's cool. Y'all
No.
Big Ten Media Days starts tomorrow, and much like with the SEC and other leagues, the first order of business will be to hear from Tony Petitti. For what it's worth, just a reminder that Tony Petitti came to the Big Ten from television.
Yep.
So, he's got different views on this, perhaps, or at least a different way of looking at it. And tomorrow, will the Big Ten's commissioner begin to take some of the arrows that Greg Sankey's been taking?
Well, it's going to be interesting because Sankey was very upfront with on the big stage, in the big room, when he went to every local market and sat down with their people, Greg was very consistent on this. And I'll paraphrase, we ain't down with pooling TV money. We ain't down with you limiting how we build our league or expand our league or what we do with our league. I want to see if Petitti's is out front as him. Because we don't really know this guy. He's been around a couple of years. We know that he wants to expand the playoff to get more mediocre Big Ten teams in. We get that.
Well, and he wants to give his television partners the opportunity to bid on those games.
Well, that's the problem. ESPN doesn't want to open up 24.
And really, I think that's still where the majority of this business actually is being done.
I think there's two things. That's the one. We've talked about this. Mickey doesn't want it. Mickey will go to 16 because he's still holding most of the exclusivity. You get a pass there, then Fox can come in and others, and Disney doesn't want to give it up.
Yeah.
Fox wants to get in because the NFL contract is going to be gigantic. And there is some smoke that Fox might not go that deep to renew the NFL. So Fox needs something to replace it. You know what they'd like to replace it with, the rumor is?
College football.
College football.
The second most popular sport.
Which would be a lot less money than the NFL.
They're not sitting on the piles of cash that Netflix and Apple are currently sitting on. And by the way, watch for Apple to be a major player in sports coming up here pretty soon.
Well, again,
they're sitting on.
Oh,
they're cash. Listen, I read this the other day because they were talking about Disney. Just a quick aside, how easily Apple could and may just absorb Disney. And like have 90% of their cash hoard still sitting there.
Apple laughs at Disney.
And it's Disney. It isn't like
right.
It's not like some mom and pop store down the street.
Right.
So
This isn't
anyway,
your local cable company. This
no,
is
it's
Disney.
Disney.
Here's the thing. That's where a lot of these interworkings start. Besides Cody Campbell, who is obviously a major force, but it's his bill.
Yeah, he's a force.
A lot
To
of
find out how major it is. I'm serious.
Well, what makes him a force is his bank account, not him.
Yeah,
it's his bank account.
Yeah.
Because he's going, Ted, here's what I want in this bill. Well, that makes sense.
Well,
Cody.
how'd that work out with the Texas AG last month?
Yeah, exactly. Well, because what happens?
Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah.
wow.
Sometimes, sir, money doesn't buy everything.
Yeah.
I know.
Buys you losses in court.
Yeah, NCAA knows that too. But it's just the idea that a couple things happen here. I think the SEC legitimately does not want to give up their SEC championship game and the money it makes them roughly at least $50 million a year, right? And B, Disney and ESPN, they've got their own room. Fox and the Big Ten, they got their own room. And some of these things that are going on here are about appeasing Disney and Fox. Because you're right. The streaming folks laugh at Fox and Disney's money.
Yes.
The streaming people go, where's the rest of it? Yeah. What else you got? We got that. We got that out in the.
I'm serious about Apple. I think Apple. I've been reading about them. They're just exploring how, because they've got a thing with MLS right now. I think for them more than anything, and they're doing a little bit with baseball, Major League Baseball. I think it's been sort of a test run to see how it's working, and really as much about getting the kinks of the technology worked out as it is what they want to spend their money on.
Hey, Jay, do you remember the old days where all these streaming services said they didn't want anything to do with sports?
Well, because they didn't have the money.
Right.
And Apple's not a streaming service. Apple's just Apple, but they've got Apple TV. And I don't mean Apple TV, just the Apple TV box. They now have a
Apple TV. It's a platform.
Apple TV.
I watch it way too much now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Slow Horses, great show. It's just the idea that they have gobs of money. Amazon, last time I checked, gobs of money. Yeah. And they've all realized something.
But Amazon's Thursday night games have not been good. Yeah. Even if it's Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, they've not been good.
And Amazon doesn't care.
No.
They'll keep going, even though they take the garbage they get thrown from the NFL. They don't care. It's just they all have that much money, and they've realized how valuable a property live sports is now.
Yeah.
I mean, look, first of all, Nielsen finally figured out how to do better metrics on live sports. But you look at the numbers on live sports across the board, almost every sport, Jay, the numbers are up.
They are, because it's the last thing left you can do. So
it's on demand, but it's not on demand anymore.
On that note, again, to come back to the PCSA, if this language that they've been working on over the weekend is, and again, that's why I think tomorrow's Tony Petitti speech is going to be important to listen to. It may well be that the SEC and Big Ten get on board with getting this through the Senate. And let's remember, this just needs to first get through the Senate with 60 votes so that they can avoid a filibuster.
Well, let me ask you this.
Then it's still got to go to the House.
We only have like a minute here, but you're the political guy here. If the SEC and Big Ten are going to get on board on something, they've got to get something in return.
Yeah, and again, I'm not again.
We haven't heard what that's in return.
Well, I think this 51 million, as opposed to 20-something million. They've now more than doubled what they can spend on athletes every year.
But is that enough to give up your SEC championship game and give up your chance to expand your leagues? Which
I don't know about
that.
I don't know about that. But I think, I'm saying it sounded like maybe those expansion issues weren't as prevalent as we might.
We were led to believe that stuff was pretty important last week.
But it's not in these, but it doesn't mean it's not there. And I'm with you. I still think it's going to matter, but maybe this is like, let's just get it through the Senate, and then we'll see what happens. Mike Waddell on the other side. Let's see what happens in Chapel Hill. Last year, more than problematic. The beginning of the preseason, problematic as GM Mike Lombardi has been put on paid leave. What is going on with Tar Heel football? Mike Waddell will help us figure it out coming up. Griffin Pools and Spas has been family-owned since the mid-1970s when late, great Stan Griffin, the founder, started the business when he built the first pool in his own backyard and said, bang, I can do this. The rest, as they like to say, is history. Griffin Pools is now a national leader in the pool industry, respected by competitors and peers. And I tell you, when you've been in business more than 50 years, you know what's up. All right. So if you want an in-ground pool that they can design and dream up with you with all the bells and whistles, or the affordability of an above-ground pool to just let you and the family enjoy a little backyard fun on these hot summer days, call Griffin Pools and Spas. They'll help you out. They'll get you a custom pool design, aggressive schedule commitment, work with you step by step, and then stay with you once the pool is done to keep it nice, clean, and safe all year long. Stop by and see them. North Lake Drive, steps away from the Lake Murray Dam, and online at griffinpoolsandspas.com.
All right, just no accidents. We're doing good here the last couple days. Friday, now today, we just have Malfunction Junction, the slowdown usual that we see there. Also, some of that long-term construction at Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork, I-20 between Sunset Boulevard and Bush River Road, and I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road. Besides that, roads are clear. Nice job. Good work. Find out what's going on in Chapel Hill on the postgame show next here on The Game.
"25 minutes in front of 5 o'clock here on this Monday afternoon. Efforting our buddy Mike Waddell. I think he might be in a meeting because I know we had tried to book him at 4:15, and he said, I can do 4:30.
Mm-hmm. So he's putting his meetings ahead of us?
Well, I got a hunch that the meeting may actually be about this story. So we will get Mike ASAP. I just shot him a text. And I know you called him as well.
So get out of your meeting, dude. You got a radio hit to do, man. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see. But
you see him look at everybody in the meeting. I got to go make.
I got a radio thing to do. But we're a radio network, Mike. Yeah, but it's in another place.
Yeah, sorry.
This story is wild, though. If we don't know a whole lot about it, and we'll go ahead and fill you in, and we'll get to Mike as soon as we can. But if you have not yet heard, North Carolina football's general manager, Mike Lombardi, who for years worked with the Patriots and Bill Belichick in New England, was today placed on paid administrative leave. We don't know why, other than Pete Thamel of ESPN reported that it was a complaint from a former employee, an HR complaint.
HR complaint.
Yeah. And again, we're not here to speculate on what that, because that could be a whole host of things.
We don't know.
That could be a whole host of things. By the way, live radio here. He says he is having phone issues. We can't get him a Zoom link in time, can we? Well, you know what? I'm just going to have to tell him we're going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, or we can do it in the 5 o'clock hour. We might be able to.
We could. Yeah. Let's see if we could bump him to 5:30. I'll text him back. I'm not going to text him during the show.
We'll try to work a little Zoom.
But he has just
action.
texted back that says he's apparently this is weird. It says Mike is texting via satellite. How do you even do that? He must be having phone issues, man.
That's pretty sad when he's using a Skylink.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what's going
hilarious.
on. I don't know. Maybe he's on vacation on some remote island.
Man, when my man's bouncing stuff off the satellite.
No, I don't know. No, we'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But anyway, North Carolina put out a statement that said, as is standard procedure with personnel matters, leadership, staff, and student athletes are prohibited from addressing this topic further. It has no reflection on the merits. Okay. More than anything, and this is one of the things we were going to get into with Mike, is how the University of North Carolina Athletics Department continues to navigate what has been an absolute PR nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been, I mean, let's face it, y'all, and I'm not even trying to be flippant or a smart aleck here, which I am so prone to do. They had one moment of brilliance last year. It was that opening drive of the season. Kenan Stadium went nuts when they were hosting TCU.
Went crazy.
They didn't score again, and the final score was 48-7. And by the time the fourth quarter hit, Kenan was empty. Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm, two of the great alums of all time,
gone.
Had left.
Yep.
They had him on TV all over the place in one of the suites. Bill Belichick looked like he wanted to be anywhere other than the sidelines of Kenan Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
The season did not progress well. They ultimately got a couple of wins under their belt late in the year. But, had no players drafted, don't really have a lot coming back that you look at for now at least and say, oh, yeah, they'll be a whole lot better. I even read one thing this morning that made me chuckle, Terry, in the Athletic. It said, I think it was Ralph Russo that wrote it, and Ralph's one of the best to ever do it. But I think he was just, writing it, right? He's like, with a roster, I think I'll paraphrase, but like with a roster that wasn't built to succeed in the ACC. And I'm like, that's putting it mildly.
That's a nice way to say it. Yeah.
It's just, and so now you have this. And I don't know. Listen, I think the hiring of Lombardi was more about cronyism.
Oh, yeah. Bill brought in his guy.
Than knowing how to navigate the process in college athletics.
It's the arrogance of we don't need any stinking college guys. We got this. I mean, Bill would have been smart. He would have hired someone who had some idea about the college game, right, to help him navigate it, at least in the beginning, right? Yeah. No, he brought in his boy, Lombardi, and we've seen how that works. But there's a bigger problem here, which is what's going on in North Carolina in general. You got a new chancellor here in the last couple of years with Lee Roberts. I believe I was reading earlier today. A Dookie, by the way.
What?
At Chapel Hill. You have an auto racing executive, Steve Newmark, who was a NASCAR guy, I believe, who's brought in to be the AD.
Yes.
And look, a lot of universities are bringing in these types now that don't really have that connection to college athletics, but understand, like big picture stuff. Like, how do you generate revenue?
Yeah.
How do you get revenue streams? We need to make money. And these guys are more of that than they are old school athletic directors. And some of them are working well and some of them aren't. And again, Bubba Cunningham, they just pushed Bubba Cunningham out the door.
I think that's what they did. And Bubba, I wouldn't call old school AD. I would call him somewhat of a new school AD.
I think Bubba was a solid athletic director in North Carolina, and he
had come from a money school at Tulsa. I know it's not Oklahoma,
but still,
but they got money at Tulsa. And
Bubba's more old school than these guys today.
Fair.
He might not be old curmudgeon 1985, but compared to these guys we're seeing today, he had athletic collegiate connections. Some of these guys come in blind, right? Even commissioners now are coming in blind.
Yeah.
So no one says it doesn't work, but again, you had a guy in Bubba Cunningham who knew what was up. It's like a move. It feels like.
Well, when Bubba got completely overruled.
Yeah, well, for Bill Belichick.
On this.
Well, Bubba did not hire Bill Belichick. The Board of Trustees hired Bill Belichick, let's just be honest.
Yes.
The Board of Trustees hired Bill Belichick. So you went away from your athletic director, you cut him off at the knees, and you, again, fell in love with the shiny rings and the name, and not even thinking if it would work or not. And once you push Bub out like that, that was done.
Right.
And then you go hire a guy with zero idea of collegiate athletics, so maybe he can get you money. But these hires, Mike Malone, I'm just like, what? I mean, you couldn't. Jay,
because you couldn't get Dusty May.
Well, think about it. You're North Carolina. You are one of the iconic college basketball programs in the history of the sport.
Right.
You have money. You're spending money now. Hubert Davis had money. They've hired a GM. They have upped their game to the modern world. You still couldn't go bag a big fish.
Right.
And you looked around and said, hey, isn't that pro coach with the volleyball daughter? Is he still around here? Can we talk to him? I mean, it felt like they were all in on Dusty May.
And again, Coach Malone's daughter plays volleyball.
Plays volleyball at North Carolina. So when they did,
because that's the reason to.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think that's why they did it, because he's sitting there with this big ring on his finger.
He's not bringing Joker with him.
No, and he's not. No, he's not. No, well, he's got eligibility. I'm just saying. But here's the thing.
I'm going to sue for eligibility. Where's courthouse?
Bring his brothers.
I did not go to college when I was at home.
I
would like to play for the Tar Heels.
I'm picturing old Joker playing at Chapel Hill.
Where's lawyer?
Well, if it works for Bediako, what the hell, right? I just think that there's a real problem at North Carolina deeper than Belichick. That Board of Trustees is running the show now, it feels like, and that's not good. What do you think of that, Joker?
What time is parade? I just remember that, man. Okay. You could just tell all he wanted to do was go back home to his farm, man.
It was so funny. I just want to go.
What time is parade?
We're going to take care of the horses.
What time is parade?
So funny. But anyway, so it's a mess, man. That thing
is.
It's a mess.
And I was doing some digging on this with a few people this morning who echoed the same kind of things that between the board, and you mentioned the new chancellor, there's just not a lot of direction right now.
How long was Bubba there?
About 10 years.
I mean, that's stability.
Yeah,
and look, every AD is going to make good hires and not so good hires and blah, blah, blah. No one's going to be perfect. But Bubba, I thought for the most part, did a good job, and there was stability. Now, again, if you want to bring in somebody who can generate revenue and go out there and get
maybe
money
hire
for
a
you,
consultant,
yeah,
or hire that guy as a lieutenant,
right?
But you still need somebody to lead that has the collegiate experience, at least to some degree.
Right, something.
It is still college athletics, after all. And I think maybe there's too much sight lost from that perspective. All right. Apologize for not getting Mike. He just texted back again, and he's incredibly sorry and is having issues. We'll get him back on the show as quickly as possible because this story ain't going away. But we'll come back on the other side with a little Jay or Nay. It's the postgame show. All right, welcome back in. 11 minutes in front of 5 o'clock on this Monday afternoon. Jay and Terry with you. Again, apologies. Just was texting back and forth with our buddy Mike Waddell, North Carolina Sports Network. And again, that's the state of. I want to make that clear that he does not work for the University of North Carolina Sports Network. It is simply a statewide network of radio stations and websites.
Exactly.
Podcasts and such. And was a former administrator he was an associate AD at Arkansas, at Illinois, was the AD at Towson, worked in NASCAR for a bit, worked with Steve Spurrier's Apollos. So was it the Orlando Apollos? Is that what they were called? In a couple years ago, whatever league that was, that lasted like a week and a half.
Yeah, what was that?
I think it was the Apollos.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But he worked with Coach. He's
There you go.
big fan.
There you go.
But anyway, he apologized, but said he had lost all connectivity. And again, I was texting via satellite, which I showed Terry. I was like, I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that either. It was weird. I'm figured like it's like Moonraker or something.
So we'll try to, we're going to work on, he hopes it's fixed tomorrow, and we'll get him on the show and discuss further on what's going on in Chapel Hill. In the meantime, I'll let you navigate over towards your music page, and we'll do a little, I don't know what Terry has ready for Jay or Nay. Yeah, I think your mic is off, so you have to turn your mic.
I turn it back on. There you go.
There you go.
I tell you, I'm going to start with the kicker because I don't want to not get to the kicker. So we're going to start with the kicker. We're
Okay.
going to do a little reverse here. All right, so let's get the music going first.
Ah, the best.
All right, John Sumrall's wife
Oh, no, I saw this.
did a little interview.
I saw this.
Now, Sumrall is this guy. He's football guy.
Ready to throw a podium when your phone rings in the press conference?
He's the guy that's going to call you out.
Do you have sound of this?
Oh, yes, I do, sir.
Goodness. Okay.
So John Sumrall's wife, in an interview, talked about something John Sumrall likes to do to relax.
What is something maybe we don't know as seeing head coach John Sumrall that you would love Gator Nation to know about him?
He loves pedicures.
Oh, really?
That's his favorite extra thing to do. So every 2 weeks in the football season, John loves to get a pedicure. That's just a fun little happy about him.
Is this the team bonding thing that occurs?
We should get the team going. It's good for them, you know. It's a good quality thing for them to do. But he loves it.
So John likes a good petty. Jay Phillips.
Yeah, and I saw our buddy Matt Conley tweet out, for those who've never had a pedicure, don't knock them. I've never had one, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, Jay or nay on a pedicure?
I've never had one.
Would you get
I'm not gonna nay it. I can't say I J it because I've never had one.
Okay, tomorrow if we had someone come to us and say, okay, we got you guys free pedicures, are you going?
Sure. I mean,
That's a J.
if it's to like say, would you be again, I hear my wife and daughters talk about them all the time.
I have been around women who say they're the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not going to sit here and knock it. I just haven't done it.
I will say this. I know a few, I won't say their names, ex-NFL players who like a good pedicure.
But I imagine Coach Sumrall not real thrilled with Mrs. Coach.
Yeah. I wonder if he threw her out like the guy with the phone going off,
I will say,
the office.
Well, she could throw him out. I mean, because he's done okay. Mrs. Coach is
Yeah, she's all right.
yeah. He's done a
It's
good
not
job.
Ryan Satterfield, but who is, right?
Well, but no, but he probably didn't like that at first.
I would probably call the wife over and said, sweetheart.
But you know what? If the only people ragging on you are those Gator fans in tank tops and jorts coming up this season, then I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Jorts.
All right, I really wouldn't.
Okay. Jay or nay on the jorts?
Oh, nay. Oh, God.
All right.
It's one thing to wear cutoffs, but when you wear the,
Jorts. All right, ready? Here's your choice.
Okay.
Get a pedicure or wear jorts in public.
Oh, God, I get a pedicure every day, bro. I assure you.
I won't lie.
Every day.
I have never in my life had a pedicure.
If you said where I could wear jorts every day or get a pedicure every day, it'd be a pedicure every day.
I have never put a pair of jorts on my body, nor will I ever. I will say that right now.
Yeah.
If I got to make the choice, I will be sitting next to you at the pedicure parlor.
Yeah.
Because I'm not putting on any
I'm not
jorts.
putting on jorts, man.
It's just like with man capris.
Hey, if you like jorts,
Hey, good for
cool.
you. Ain't for me. Just like man capris, not for me.
Nope.
They will not go on my body.
No.
But if you like them, I worked with a guy who loved his man capris.
Did he get pedicures?
You know what? I bet he did.
Maybe.
Because if you got man capris, you're probably open to a pedicure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, hey, again, to each their own.
That's right.
But I imagine that, again, Coach Summerall not thrilled with Mrs. Coach.
Michigan AD Ward Manuel gets $7 million to leave the building. How would you like to be Ward Manuel, J or Nay?
It'd be a J, but some people might go, is that all? Get out quicker. I'll give you more.
$7 million to leave.
I think that's basically, but honestly, I think that's what's left on his contract.
Yeah, that's what I mean. $7 million, that's what my point. $7 million to leave the building.
Yeah. What Jimbo get? 10 times that.
I was going to say, Jimbo laughs at this.
Yeah,
Jimbo
10
goes,
times
hold my
that.
beer, bub.
Even Will Muschamp got 3 times that.
Just
Yikes.
to leave.
Later. Headlines coming up.
Might as well just let the music play because there's nothing going on.
Way to go, people. Proud of you.
We can sit here and yap over the music because we just got construction and malfunction junction. That's all we got, which is good. It means there's no accidents. We like it when there's no accidents. Just a typical construction we talked about the last time. In the same 3 spots it always is. The typical slowdown and malfunction junction that we always have. That's all. There you go. Coming up, 5 o'clock news. I think we've wasted all the time in this music bed. Here on the game.
It is 5 o'clock news time here on a Monday. It's also the final hour of the postgame show. Welcome back in along with Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. We start once again with the story out of Chapel Hill. North Carolina's football general manager, Mike Lombardi, has been placed on paid administrative leave by the university. The school announced today that his leave is effective immediately, but did not provide further details. The Heels will open their second season under Bill Belichick on August 29th. They play TCU again to open it, but this year that game will be in Dublin. According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, the school's decision comes after a complaint filed through Human Resources from a former front office employee at the school. There is a pending investigation into the matter. According to the sources that Pete Thamel spoke with, Lombardi joined Belichick in December of 2024. They had worked together for years at the New England Patriots, obviously, and even going as far back as their time at the Browns when Belichick was an assistant to Marty Schottenheimer. Of course, North Carolina, not a good year last year, 4-8. No players drafted. We mentioned that earlier in the show. We were talking about this. Outlook, not a whole lot better. And how much of an effect, Terry, this is going to have on the football team remains to be seen. I would say it's minimal.
I think it's just
it's just further again. It's just everything under that umbrella seems to still be getting them wet.
And that's the problem.
Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it because I don't think the football players haven't probably know who the hell Michael Lombardi is.
Well, they're like, oh, he's the guy that comes and yells at us.
Always following around Bill and rubbing his feet and giving him pedicures and getting him coffee and he wears those jorts. We know that guy.
Sure.
But yeah, they don't know. It doesn't affect the football team.
It shouldn't.
It's just another thing to go with the other things that are going on.
Yeah.
That make you scratch your head and go, this was arguably the greatest head coach in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
What has happened here?
Yeah.
Again, nothing. No one. The legacy police don't show up at your house and take your legacy away. But this is the last couple years of Bill in New England and Bill at Chapel Hill so far, you just shake your head, man.
Well, you just say, that Brady fella was
How
pretty
much
good.
of that was that Brady fella in the long run? And then that's a question a lot of people say is like, you look at Bill's teams without Tom Brady in his coaching career, it ain't like having Tom Brady. Then Tom Brady left. And
the more separation there is from their time together, especially considering that Tom Brady had 2 fine years in Tampa, including a Super Bowl. Yeah, but even the next year, they were good.
Yeah, they were good. They just got beat in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were good.
I look at, as much as I think they needed each other, so to speak, I think Brady covered up a lot of warts on that offense.
I'm telling you, I'm serious. The more separation there is.
Remember, they only had they had Gronk, they had Randy Moss. And
Edelman was serviceable.
Edelman was okay in that system. They had a couple of receivers that were solid.
They had good defenses.
But
you had
Brady,
Seymour and those guys.
The more you look at it, on the offensive side of the ball, I'm saying, I think Brady covered up a lot of warts. And when Brady left,
man,
all of a sudden you couldn't cover him up anymore.
Yeah,
that's just me.
I don't think there's any question of that. And again, I will say it for the third time: the more separation there is between their time together, the more you begin to realize just how special Tom Brady might have been.
Yeah.
Because I used to think it was 50-50.
Well, I always thought they needed, I still think there's a piece where they need each other to a point.
I don't disagree.
Like, I don't know if Brady could have been as successful as he was with another coach because Bill, other things Bill did very well. But I think Tom enabled Bill.
You know what, man? He was like 78 years old and he went and won a Super Bowl.
I mean, just think about that for a minute.
So maybe
the more I've watched it and the more I see what's happened to Belichick and how things have gone since Brady left, you feel like, you know.
And I know people are now going, wait, Jay, Belichick was 70. No, I'm talking Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah, remember, Tom's older than Bill. But
he just drinks all that kale juice. He's doing great. By the way, I'm sorry. I know this is the news portion of the show, and now we get this is what y'all get sometimes with us, especially in the summer. But how funny has it been to see Tom Brady advertising for like for Ferrero or whatever, and like Nestle Quick and Nestle Crunch and like donuts and honey buns and Skittles or whatever. I'm like
everywhere.
I'm like, dude, he doesn't eat any of that.
No. What was it? He was delivering pizzas and some
Pizza
old lady
Hut.
knocked the heck out of him.
Pizza Hut. I'm like, he doesn't
Tom's
eat
not
pizza.
eating Pizza Hut. Tom's
and if he does, he has it. And there's nothing. This is actually pretty good. He's eating like the cauliflower crust.
Yeah.
No sauce.
No.
You know,
he's
veggie only.
Yeah, he's the guy that's eating like just a hamburger with nothing on it.
Or a veggie burger.
A veggie burger, rather.
But he's not. But he's not eating chocolate candy.
And there's no French fries.
No.
And he's not.
I realize they're paying him $1 gajillion per spot, so that's great, man. Good for you. But I mean,
let's
like
face
he doesn't eat pizza.
He's that guy that you go over to his house and he's got all that crap in the blender that turns green and everything.
It's kale and beets.
And he's drinking it in front of you, and he goes, "You want some?
These are good.
You want some? You got any donuts?"
Can I put chocolate ice cream in it?
He's got a beet in his hand just chewing it when you come over to his house.
But you know what? It's working.
Look at him.
It's working.
You remember seeing his video at the combine.
That's the thing, man, is that it's working.
Yeah, and he's embraced it.
Okay,
ready, since we've totally just gone to hell here.
Sure.
Here's the question, though. Would you sit and eat beets and kale, and you don't like it, you're doing it because it's good for you and it's going to make you healthy?
Yeah.
Or would you rather say, screw this, hand me some Krispy Kreme donuts? Because I like
Well, I know what I'd rather do, but, you know, I
don't know if I could do it.
If I had the ability to have done what he was doing, I'd probably fall into that. Because after a while, you just get used to it.
Yeah, honestly, when I stop playing.
Well, when I stopped playing, so maybe now he is eating Nestle Crunch. Is that what you're saying in Pizza Hut?
Because, dude, don't give me that kale milkshake anymore, man. I ain't playing. Yeah, give me a real milkshake.
Put like a banana in there or something. I don't know what. Anyway, all right. So North Carolina football in trouble. Mike Lombardi on paid leave. And let's move on about our business as we continue our integrated media headlines of the day. Congratulations to young Jackson Koiven. Those of you, and I imagine it's very few, but those of you who may know even little bits about collegiate golf, know who Jackson Koiven is, or if you follow golf. And this is a young man who is from California. His family actually moved to the Triangle up in North Carolina when he was in high school so he could play in a lot more junior events on this part of the country because the travel was a whole lot easier than having to travel from the Bay Area where he grew up. He then went to Auburn and led Auburn to 2 national championships in 3 years, including winning one just last month. Jackson Koiven has made 3 professional starts, Terry Ford, since he helped Auburn win the national title again last month. He won the 3M Open yesterday by 3 strokes at 25 under par. He finished ahead of Scotty Scheffler and Hideki Matsuyama. What does Scotty and Hideki have in common? They've won the Masters, kids. And Jackson Koiven was brilliant. He shot a 61 on Saturday. Every putt was dropping.
And then he's got Scheffler breathing on his neck hairs, and he held on, man.
He was fantastic. Brian Harmon has a major under his belt. He was right there behind him, too. It was 97 degrees yesterday, so, you know, the kid was, look, Scotty's from Dallas. He's used to the heat. But he set the all-time record at the 3M Open at 25 under. Again, the record had been Lee Hodges 3 years ago at 24 under. He's the 4th rookie winner this year, but he missed the cut at the John Deere, and he was 10th at the ISCO Championship, which is one that really, it's not even like a big tournament. He made 10 starts on tour as an amateur. So incredibly impressive. And I will say I shot a text to Bill McDonald, our great friend who coached in the SEC, obviously, for 20 years here at Carolina. And I asked him, and I hope Bill doesn't mind me saying this. I got to go back and find it. I asked him how much or how good he thought this kid could be. This is what, again, a 20-year, a collegiate golfer himself, Bill McDonald, and a 20-year SEC coaching veteran said. He's as special as anyone I've seen since Tiger. It's crazy how he literally has no weaknesses. That is what Coach McDonald said of Jackson Koiven. Now, and Bill's far from alone. I mean, I was watching Golf Channel after CBS. I mean, when you get Jim Nantz at his age, like geeked up, you're doing something on a because this. Listen, Terry. I mean, seriously, this is not a hard course. But you just beat the #1 player in the world, and a dude who had also won the Masters, and a guy who was won the British. Those are the guys that finished directly behind you. And I mean, and Jim Nantz was like, when he made the last putt, like, get in there, yeah, you know, like that. And I'm like, whoa, Jim's going, man, because kid's 21 years old. It was very impressive. Now, I'm not Bill McDonald, but the kid. The one thing that scares me, and I told you this morning, the one thing that scares me about watching him play is that he's tall, he's lanky, and he'll continue to put on some muscle. I'm not going to say he's going to turn into Bryson, but the kid's swing is, in a good way that golfers like to describe it, violent. I mean, he swings the golf club, man. But people have been saying this about him, and he was pretty much the best college golfer for the last couple of years. And again, you go to Auburn, you help him win 2 titles in 3 years. It's not a coincidence that he was on the team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's got game.
He does. But he'll refine things.
Well, he'll have to. It's like you watch this kid Jacob Mizorowski right now with the Milwaukee Brewers. He threw 66 pitches yesterday over 100 miles an hour.
Right.
The only hit he gave up was a home run, and somehow the Colorado Rocky batter closed his eyes, swung the bat, and hit a 102-mile-an-hour fastball out of the park. This dude
and you let science do the work at that point.
Yes.
Right.
As a matter of fact, you probably didn't know you hit a home run until you looked up. He has thrown over 700 pitches this year over 100 miles an hour. No one's close to this guy. But you have only so much violence in your body. And the sad thing about it, and look, we've seen it with, when you see guys throwing this hard, this consistent with that kind of effort, because you don't do it easy, Jay. You ain't throwing 102 easy. I only saw one guy ever that threw like that. His name was Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
When you're throwing that violently over and over and over again, unfortunately, what we've seen in baseball is this fellow named Tommy John shows up. And when you are swinging a golf club that violently, typically that leads to some type of physical issues before it's all said and done. I mean, Tiger's swing was violent.
Well, and Tiger ultimately ended up having some back issues. And so, look, I'm not just saying that this kid's going to have that.
The bottom line is you got to refine it.
Yeah, and he will.
So
he
you
will.
don't
By the way,
end up having that happen to you.
He left college with the all-time career record for per-round average at 68.89.
Oh, it's sickening.
I mean, that, for a college golfer, he's out there shooting.
Insane.
He's out there shooting under 69 every time he plays.
So, I mean, the cool thing about it is he's a young guy, American player, and you say what we want, that matters. And if he can go out there and capture some imagination and continue to refine his game and maybe find a way to be less violent.
For the golf world, there was more excitement about what he was going to start showing on tour than when Spieth came out. And we know what Spieth did early in his career.
Yeah, and because, again, and I get it, golf is looking for that next person to captivate them. I'm not going to sit here and say the next Tiger. You'll never find next Tiger,
I don't think
ever.
So.
But you got to find someone to captivate the casual. And like tennis. Tennis couldn't find, after McEnroe and Agassi and Connors and all those guys, and Sampras because he was really good, not because he had the personality of a tennis ball. But it's the idea, like tennis in America doesn't have that captivating male player anymore.
Right.
And tennis in America has kind of fallen off to the side.
Right.
Golf, they don't have Tiger Woods anymore. You need to get in all these sports like that, Jay. Like the NHL had Wayne Gretzky, who captivated everybody when you and I were growing up, right? Mm-hmm. When you don't have that person, remember the NBA struggled for a long time after Jordan retired.
Yeah.
It's just you need that captivating star.
Kobe became that, but it took a few minutes.
Yeah, it just takes a while. You got to find that next one that captivates the casual.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in golf, they see in this young fella something they hope that can happen down the road.
It was fun to watch. Real quick, the Braves took 2 of 3 in Baltimore. 3 really good games, including 2 that went to extras. Atlanta has
Series
now won.
was ridiculous.
It was, man. It was crazy. 3 one-run games.
Should have bet me.
I know, right? Atlanta has now won 6 of their last 8. They will be in New York starting tonight at 7 o'clock. Ronald Acuna coming off the IL. Gamecock Notebook is next. After a couple of days where we didn't hit 90, we're back to it, kids. Make sure you and your family are comfortable. AAA Heating and Air ready to help you do that. 803-677-1500, the number to call. Maybe your system's just not pumping out the cold air like it needs to. Maybe you've got a leak. Maybe there's some ductwork issues. Maybe your system's just getting old. Or maybe it is keeping you comfortable, but you open that power bill every month, or you look at it online, depending on how you look at those things, and you say, oh, my gosh, I can't be paying this anymore. Well, then it's time to call AAA and get a brand new system. Roy and Dana Finley, A, guarantee to get you financed, make it more affordable. B, get you a $1,500 system buyback rebate. So bang, $1,500 saved right off the top. And a 15-year parts and labor guarantee because they stand behind every single thing they sell. Do what my family's done. Stay comfortable all year. 803-677-1500. Work with AAA Heating and Air. Welcome back in. It is Gamecock Notebook time on this Monday. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. Southeastern Conference today announcing some dates for SEC men's basketball in the 2026-27 season. I guess really 27 because none of these games will be in 2026. They should just call it the 27 season. Although I would love for the SEC to have a few games in December. I think that might actually help the I don't know, but they just don't want to do it. I think I've been told that the reason the SEC doesn't and the ACC does is because at least for years the ACC saw itself as more of a basketball league.
Well, the ACC was a basketball.
Oh, well, yeah, and the SEC didn't, and the SEC also knew. Oh no, listen. If we started to have that, while our teams are getting ready for bowl games.
I was going to say, you got bowl games in the SEC.
we're not.
Well, the Big Ten plays a couple of conference games, I think.
I think the SEC should. I think it would be good I think it would actually generate more. You can do both. You can still love your football team.
Yeah.
And you can, and let's face it, I'm not talking about playing these games in November. Just play a couple games in December. Get a couple games under your belt, then play a couple conference games.
And then this is just me. Look, football is always going to drive the train in the SEC. We get it. But I think the SEC took a little bit of time to go, we can also be really good at this basketball thing. Remember, they had to have that meeting. How many years ago was that
Mike
meeting?
Slive did it. There was a year when the SEC only got 3 teams in the tournament, and one was obviously an automatic. And Mike Slive, in so many words, went around to his ADs and presidents and said, listen, if you spend the money, because the SEC back then was retreading small college guys, and a lot of the basketball players it almost felt, and I mean this in a good way, but y'all know what I'm talking about if you've been watching SEC basketball for a while. These dudes were probably, they should have been playing football. They just weren't quite good enough to play football. And so they were like, I'll play basketball.
I'm athletic. I can dunk.
And the exceptions were obviously, at Kentucky.
Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Arkansas were the only 3 schools.
And then when Arkansas joined, because Arkansas had always kind of seen itself, I say always, but in the 80s with Eddie Sutton, they saw themselves as a dual.
Nolan Richardson in the 40
minutes of hell. And then Nolan came in, and that was right. Nolan came in, and Arkansas came in right when that hit. And
Arkansas was really good.
Oh, my God, it was fun to watch.
And you had three teams that were really good in the SEC, but Nolan's teams were fun, man.
But anyway, Mike Slive, this was probably 2010, 2012-ish. He was like, listen, we need to, or maybe it was even before that. Charles Bloom could tell me. But it's like, we gotta do better than this and just spend some money. And so the SEC started to either enhance their buildings and then start to pay some coaches. And I think Billy Donovan. Florida caught lightning in a bottle with Billy. They didn't know Billy was going to be Billy.
You didn't think he would end up playing like that.
No.
It was fantastic. And you look at the Bruce Pearls and the John Calipari's, and you start bringing in real coaches all over the league. Auburn, 10 people used to go to Auburn games. Bruce Pearl made it one of the best.
Even Bruce Pearl at Tennessee. Tennessee didn't know that Bruce Pearl was going to turn into Bruce. No. Now, Auburn knew what they were getting in Bruce Pearl.
Yep, but think about that. They didn't know that he would transform that place into a basketball
school. And then there was John Brady at LSU, who, again, may as well have been coaching high school, but he had Big Baby and those
players.
guys.
Man. He fell asleep during games half the time. Woke him up at the end. He goes, "Did we win? We win?"
But anyway, Carolina. So I'd love to see them play some games at the beginning of the regular
season. And the
thing
about now, too, everything's so much about money, right? Some games in December can help you generate a little revenue.
It generates some revenue, generates some interest, and again, and then you're still going to play the non-con games over the over the break. But if you could play a couple of conference games before exams,
that's all right.
Why not? I would do it. But anyway, Carolina's schedule is, again, as I said, almost out, and I'll do what I said. In the first hour, when Terry and I talked about this, listen carefully. There will be a quiz. This is how I'm going in order here. So you got a Saturday game at LSU, January 2nd. Then a Tuesday or Wednesday home with Arkansas. Then a Saturday home with A&M. A Tuesday or Wednesday at Vandy. A Saturday at Missouri. A Tuesday or Wednesday home with Bama. A Saturday at State. Tuesday or Wednesday home with Texas. A Saturday at Oklahoma. A Tuesday or Wednesday at Florida. A Saturday home with Georgia. A Tuesday or Wednesday at Kentucky. A Saturday home with Auburn. The following Saturday, home with Mississippi. That's February 20, just to keep up. Then a Tuesday at Tennessee. No war. You know you're going to play in Knoxville on a Tuesday. How's that? Then Saturday, February 27th, home with State. Tuesday or Wednesday, March 2 or 3, home with Florida. And wrap up the regular season March the 6th on a Saturday at beautiful Stegman Coliseum in Athens, Georgia.
I tell you what. Mm-hmm.
So the reason I'm kidding a little bit there, lots of
and
on
oars.
Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Yep.
So
And
we'll find those out in the coming weeks is what Carolina tells us. It says once the TV partner, once he's still sorting a few things
figure
out.
it out.
He's got his board.
Big whiteboard
Yeah,
up, and
he's
he's
got
kind
his
of going
board.
through it.
Yeah.
He'll get it honed down, and then Mickey will show up across the street here with the schedule.
Yeah. And again, Florida, Georgia, and State are the home and homes. Everybody else
Florida's
will be
gonna be
a
good.
home or
Mike White's done a nice job at.
Florida is going to be good. That's
Mike White's done a really nice job at Georgia, making them a solid program.
he has.
And
State.
Mississippi State last year was weird. Jenks is a good coach. That thing was just sideways last year. You know what? I'll say this really quick. He's one of those coaches. Jans is one of those coaches, like some of these other coaches in the country. You know what? We're just going to play really good defense. Every now and then the ball's going to go in by accident. We'll win the game like 6-4, right?
Sure.
At some point, you've got to understand we have to actually run offense and actually try to score the basketball and maybe do some things, get some players who can actually, do things offensively to help. Because if we can score and play defense the way we play defense, oh, my God. But, Chris Jans is not alone. I could probably give you 10 coaches in college basketball. Hey, guys, you got to put the ball in the basket to win.
Yeah.
What's your offense? Throw bricks and get rebounds. That's probably not a great strategy.
Right? No, it's not. It's not gonna sustain you. Let's put it that way. South Carolina, by the way, also says in the release that we'll know more about the non-conference schedule soon. It says you're encouraged to stay tuned to the website GamecocksOnline.com for more on that. But the non-con not completely done. We know a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
NC State and Clemson. Those are the ones I know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, again,
That's the ones.
there you go, man.
So there will be others.
Yeah, you think?
There will be others.
There's going to be more.
Yes, there will be more than you're not going to play NC State and Clemson like 6 times each in the non-con. Although I'd be here for that.
Be interesting. A best of 7.
Come back on the other side with a drive around the SEC. Our friends at On3, as part of the drive around, have put together a list of the 10 loudest stadiums based on decibel measurements. 10 loudest stadiums in college football. How many of those are in the SEC? And who's number 1? Drive around the SEC is next.
Again, thumbs up to you. No accidents on the roadways. Just our normal construction. I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road. I-20 between Sunset Boulevard and Bush River Road. Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork, and obviously slow going at Malfunction Junction. Just, good news. No accidents. No cars broken down the middle of the interstate. All good as we roll through the 5:30 traffic. We'll pop back in here, do a drive around the SEC here on the postgame show. Loudest stadiums in the country by decibels. We'll tell you how many are from the SEC. That's next here on the game.
It is Drive Around the SEC time on this Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. For the benefit of those who may have been on vacation last week or some such, or you just didn't get to hear Friday's show, maybe didn't see this over the weekend, the SEC Media Days vote tallied up on Friday and released. Georgia was picked to win the conference, followed by Texas, then Mississippi, but it was way behind. Georgia was picked on 88 ballots to win the conference. Texas picked on 57 of them. Mississippi on just 6. A&M on 5 ballots. Bama 3. Oklahoma and LSU 2 each. And again, one person thought it'd be funny.
No, I think they're just, they believed in Will Stein. When Will Stein got up and said, we're going to win because of me, they were all in.
He did. But, and again, in order to pick a team, because this is how the voting works with the SEC and the website that they use. In order to pick a team to be the champion, you have to have that team voted as one of your top 2, because the top 2 are the ones that play in the SEC championship game now. And so they set it up accordingly. So you couldn't say have the predicted order of finish as Georgia and Alabama,
and then pick
Kentucky.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you have to have them. So somebody picked Kentucky either first or second, and then and then you do choose a separate champion.
That person, he or she, believed in Will Stein.
Yeah, so basically you pick your order of finish, and then the computer, the next question is who do you think will win that title game?
You can't try to even game the system because it won't let you.
No, it won't let you.
Right.
Like, you have to have them all, and then you hit the next button, and then on it goes. By the way, Georgia, again, was picked first in the conference, followed by Texas, then Mississippi, then A&M, LSU 5th, Bama 6, Oklahoma 7, Tennessee 8, Florida 9, Missouri 10, South Carolina 11, Auburn 12, and then Vandy, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. Carolina will see the bottom 3 schools, but then they see a bunch of schools that are ahead of them: Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Alabama, A&M, and Georgia.
Yeah, we yipped about this last week. South Carolina gets the 3 worst teams in the conference by over-under win projections.
Yep.
Right? In Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Arkansas. After that, all the over-unders and the rest of their opponents, 7.5 or higher.
Yeah, you got 3 national title contenders, in my opinion, maybe a 4th with Oklahoma. But I certainly think Alabama, A&M, and Georgia are what I would call, at least at this point, national title contenders. Tennessee should be good. Florida should be good. So it's never easy around these parts. But you better win those bottom 3.
We said there's 5 games you have to win.
Yeah.
And then you go from there.
Yeah.
You obviously got to win. You got to eat your 2 cupcakes to start the year.
Yep.
And then take out Arkansas and Mississippi State and Kentucky.
Yeah.
One of those is on the road in Fayetteville.
Yep.
But 2 of these are at home. You got to win those 5.
You do.
And then you're sitting pretty good for the other 7.
Yeah.
But you got to win those 5, man.
And I think you need to. I personally believe in the first 6 games. Again, I think you need to at worst, because again, you'd love to win every game you play.
Right.
But at worst, I think you need to split those road trips to Tuscaloosa and Gainesville.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting at 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that, and at that point, because again, I think Tennessee coming to Columbia is winnable. I think with how you played A&M last year, winnable. Again, nothing's easy. Georgia, that's going to be.
Look, you feel like going to Norman and winning, or beating Georgia anywhere on the earth or anywhere in the galaxy.
Going to Norman this time, they won't forget the last time.
No, that was you talk about a curb stomping that South Carolina gave Oklahoma. I think going to Norman and winning and beating Georgia are the two really, really tall mountains that it's going to be tough to climb. But the rest of these games, you can sit there and make cases for why you have a shot and an opportunity. And if your offense is as good as we hope it's going to be, and your defense can be what it's been, and your special teams can be solid like they typically are, you're a pretty good football team.
I agree.
And we'll again, it's all got to play itself out, obviously. But
as I like to say, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. But
you got to win those 5.
Yeah,
everything starts with winning the 5 games you should win.
Agree. So doing that, a lot of these games will be at home, and a lot of these games will be on the road. At least a couple of these games, Carolina will, or a couple of these places, Carolina will visit. Let me make sure here. Actually, 2 of these places, Carolina will visit in the coming season. So our friends at On3 have, I guess they've gotten the measurements, and they have ranked the 10 loudest stadiums in the country based on decibel level. I'll go from 10 to 1.
Go for it.
And I don't know, look, I don't know if this is like a Richter scale thing, like how much louder 1 is relative to 10 or anything like that. All right. And, like
Rutgers?
They didn't make it, man. They're 11th.
Man.
It's close. It's close. But it was only because Springsteen was playing.
Those 10 people aren't making a lot of noise.
No, it was Springsteen. He's from Jersey. Do you know that? Springsteen's from Jersey.
Never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for telling me.
True story. Sorry. Number 10, the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Makes sense.
Gainesville, Florida. 115 decibel level is the highest they've measured.
The way they pregame, not surprised.
Number 9, Beaver Stadium, State College, Pennsylvania.
It is loud.
At 122.
That place is loud.
Decibels.
Yes. I've been there a few times. It gets,
Number 8.
You know what they do that's really annoying?
Yeah.
Every time they get a first down, and then they might not do this anymore. I haven't been to a game there in a long time.
Okay.
Every time they get a first down, tiger roar sound effect over the speakers.
Lion, you mean?
Yeah, I mean lion. What the hell am I saying? Lion roar, or a tiger roar, or a cheetah. I don't know.
Some really large cat.
A hyena. No, they have a lion roar every time. Now again, when they're beating
some
up
people
a team,
don't like a rooster crow, or an elephant trumpet at Tuscaloosa.
after about 33 first downs,
sure,
you're just like,
you're getting a lot of first downs.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why it's annoying.
Yeah,
if you're an opposing fan.
Yeah. Well, I was just there if I was a Nittany Lion fan, I probably would have loved every second of it. But I was just there because I got tickets and I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And after they got first down number 45, I'm like, oh my God, please stop with the Lions.
Must have been who'd they play? Villanova?
They were playing some jobber.
Yeah, I guess so. Number 8, Kyle Field, College Station, Texas, measured at 126 decibels. Number 7, Lane Stadium, Blacksburg, Virginia, home of the Hokies, 126.2.
Anyway, you want to YouTube Enter Sandman?
Sure.
That is massively cool.
Number 6, Outson Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, 127 decibels.
They say very loud.
Number 5, and some people might go, I figured this might be number 1, and I can get it. Number 5, Tiger Stadium, Death Valley, Baton Rouge.
Now,
130 decibels.
Interesting.
And here's one that's going to make the LSU fans upset. Number 4, Death Valley, Clemson, at 132.8. So wherever On3's getting their measurements, man, Clemson has been measured louder than Death Valley West.
How about that?
Tied at number 2. Husky Stadium, Seattle, Washington, 133.6 decibels.
Again, I lived out there for 2 years. That is a very underrated fan base, how much they love the Huskies.
Okay.
Very underrated.
Again, tied at number 2 with Williams-Brice Stadium, Columbia, South Carolina, also measured at 133.6 decibels.
Did they measure it the night that Rocket Sanders broke off the touchdown run 2 years ago against Missouri? Because I thought that place was going to explode.
There have been a couple of times. I mean, Williams-Brice, the way it's built, and you know what, to be fair, sorry, Carolina fans, but, the way Clemson is built, And I've been to Clemson when it was loud, but most of my trips to Clemson have actually been really enjoyable for somebody like me. Because the road team won.
Well, last two trips have been really good.
I've been to 4.
Really?
Yeah, and I've only been up there like 6, so my record's pretty good.
You're going to go this year. I think South Carolina should send you
my
this year.
record's pretty good up
You
there.
were like a rabbit's
I don't go
foot.
every time, but when I've gone, most of the time, it's been all right.
You're
man.
a human rabbit's foot. Absolutely.
So, again, Carolina and Washington tied at number 2, and that leaves the number 1 loudest stadium in America, according to On3, Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee, measured at a whopping 137 decibels.
You see the way that thing is built like straight. I've never been there. I hear it's like built straight up.
It's a huge bowl. They've also got 100 and whatever thousand, because again, the size of your seat is the size of a standard piece of paper. It is very tall.
Yeah.
And it is very loud. And I have been there too. It's a scene, man. But how much of that is the people and how much of that is the bowl? Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, I'd say both.
But look, Neyland, real big. Tiger Stadium, LSU, real big. Beaver Stadium.
And when I went there, it
100,000.
was before the expansion. It was in like 80 some or 90 some thousand when I went back in the day.
I think it's
before the
high 90s
expansion.
now, right around.
I think
100?
it's over 100 now.
Yeah, and the Swamp is over 90. So you got to, but then there's Outson and Lane, which probably are both in the 60s. Lane Stadium might be a little bit bigger than
Outson is small compared to a lot of these other.
And I'm forgetting Kyle Field, which is at right around 100.
Well, that's a Hyundai too there.
Yeah. So there you go. And believe it or not, there are people in the Twitter replies that are incredulous over like no Alabama or Ohio State or Michigan.
There's a lot of talk. Alabama's not the most crazy
A
loud.
lot of wine and cheese over there these days. That's our drive around the SEC. All right, welcome back. Final few minutes of the program here on a Monday. Jay and Terry with you. Haven't yet talked about the Baseball Hall of Fame inductees. So before we do Jay versus the Internet, just a quick note. Again, I told Terry I'm obviously incredibly biased on one of them, and that's Jeff Kent.
Yeah, such a likable fella.
Jeff Kent got in, Carlos Beltran got in, and Andrew Jones got in. And, I told Terry, in terms of contemporaries, I think the only center fielder that would compare with Andrew is Ken Griffey. I don't know how people might want to measure the two of them. I mean, I think I need to look it up how many. For some reason, Terry, my phone is I don't know what is going on.
Same thing would happen to our buddy Michael.
Yeah, it's weird. My phone there. I don't know why my phone started playing a song completely out of nowhere. That was. I thought it was something on in the computer.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, I apologize. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. Do you? How many Gold Gloves Ken Griffey had? I could look it up real quick.
I'll get it real quick.
But Andrew Jones went in. It was a few years later than I thought it should be. Again, biased, but that's now in terms of what I call the Bobby Cox era of the Atlanta Braves.
Ken Griffey Jr. 10.
Okay, so again, and then tied with Andrew. So they both had 10. And again, I mean that. I mean, I knew how good Griffey was. We just didn't get to see him a lot playing in the American League back in the day, but especially in Seattle for most of those years. But Andrew Jones was a difference maker. And you and I were talking about it this morning. And I think maybe because Andrew's final few years in the bigs where he bounced around a little bit were not as productive.
After 07, there were some struggles.
But I just think, I told you, and I'm serious, I just think sometimes, and this is maybe overstating it a little bit, but I think sometimes the arrogance of baseball writers when it comes to the voters of for Hall of Fame is matched only by the arrogance of Major League umpires. I'm dead serious. It's uncanny to me. Well, you didn't do this or that or, whatever, or you didn't do it long enough. I mean, Andrew Jones won 10 Gold Gloves. Andrew Jones had hit 4 home runs. I think Andrew Jones should be in the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest center fielders to ever play the game. But I just feel like there's sometimes too much emphasis on the offensive side. And again, Andrew Jones hit 400-some home runs.
434. He averaged, in 162-game season, his 162-game season average had been 32 homers a year. Now, his OPS is 823 for his career, which is above average. So,
over 800.
You got 823 OPS. You had 32 homers a year. You averaged 95 RBIs a season. Even with the decline in your career from 08 to 212, 10 Gold Gloves. Look, I always think there's a difference between being a first ballot Hall of Famer and a Hall of Famer. Just because you're not a first ballot guy doesn't mean you can't be a Hall of Famer. And sometimes the perfect storm of years come across, and then you get Andrew Jones, who you go over. I said this to you. All 3 of these guys have Hall of Fame worthy statistics we can throw up. Are they first ballot guys? None of them. But are they Hall of Famers? There are stats that you can look at to make an argument that, these guys had this or that can put them in the Hall at some point. And to me, with Jones, again, I said this to you. Brooks Robinson's in the Hall of Fame because he won 18 Gold Gloves. Ozzie Smith's in the Hall of Fame because he had so many Gold Gloves. There are some guys from like the 1920s that you and I can't pronounce their names, like Moose Skin or some BS. They're in the Hall of Fame. Andrew Jones, again, the average 32 homers, 95 RBIs, 823 OPS, and 10 Gold Gloves.
Yeah. That's a Hall of Famer. And he's in now. But it should have been earlier, but it wasn't. But that's now, as I say, the Bobby Cox era, that's now 5 Braves. Yeah. And Bobby's 6.
Yeah, I mean, look, Carlos Beltran, he bounced around so much.
Yeah.
But there were some moments in his career. He was Rookie of the Year. He had that 40-some home run season with the Mets. Remember that great playoff run? He had 8 home runs in 12 games or whatever. Yeah. Over 4 career homers, over 3 career steals. There's a very small percentage of guys who have done that. So you can look at Beltran and go, okay, I get not first ballot, but I can see him getting in. Jeff Kent had a run where he ended up being the greatest offensive second baseman in the history of baseball, also the most hated second baseman in the history of baseball. The guy you listen to people talk, not the best human being on earth.
No, he's not.
But offensively, the guy was a beast for a period of time. Yeah. Even though he took like an ironing board to second base, he wasn't a great defender.
I say he wasn't Ryan Sandberg, who Sandberg was a better overall player.
Yes, but point being is, all three of these guys have some Hall of Fame worthy stuff.
They do,
but they're not like first ballot. But that doesn't mean in a year like this, they get in, you go, well, that sucked. No.
And
maybe I'm mellowing my old age.
Well, I'm happy for Andrew, and but I would still like to see players, at least the Hall of Famers themselves, kind of like Heisman voters, maybe have a better, at least a chance to be part of the voting process.
The arrogance of sports writers, like, oh, I'm not going to vote for that guy because Babe Ruth wasn't unanimous. Nobody should be. That kind of stuff is just stupid. Stupid. All right, man, we're back.
Well, we'll do internet tomorrow.
We'll do the internet tomorrow?
But whatever I was going to pick, I would have won.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Braves beat the Mets. Go Braves.
Look, you get older and just, life starts to kind of go sideways on you. You don't feel as strong at the gym, not sleeping as well as you did a few years ago. You don't remember things like you used to. Your, voom for life isn't there anymore. You just don't feel like you. You're sore for days after you do get a workout in. Just call the Men's Clinic and see if they can help you. 803-875-MENS. If you're getting older, the answer might be the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. You go in, you set up a free consultation. They will do a testosterone test on you, and then they'll put a program together to help you get back to being you again. But it all starts with a phone call and a free consultation. 803-875-MENS. The Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Make that call. Start feeling like yourself again with the help of the Men's Clinic. Again, clean on the roads. No accidents, no disabled vehicles in the middle of the interstate anywhere. Just road construction and slow going to Malfunction Junction. That's it. That's all. Again, the road construction, in case you're new to the area, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road. Also, Broad River Road at I-26, Dutch Fork Road, and I-20 between Sunset Boulevard and Bush River Road. Weather forecast, sunshine, mid-80s for the evening. We get through the overnight in the 70s, and the sunshine pops out again tomorrow morning in the 70s. Have a good day.